worldwide leader in sports is ESPN 620. And now, an on-air sports marketing presentation. It's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B, now on ESPN 620, 98.7 FM HD2, and streaming live at arizonasports.com. The guys are powered by the law offices of Lerner and Rowe. In a wreck and need a check? Make one call, that's all. 602-977-1900. And now on your ESPN station in Phoenix, ESPN 620, Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B.
41-yard attempts. Snap and hold are good. The kick is Notre Dame has won the Orange Bowl, and Marcus Freeman is taking them to the championship game.
That's right. The Fighting Irish have punched their ticket to the college football playoff national championship. What a game last night. You just heard it. 30 seconds remaining, tied at 24. The Fighting Irish intercepted a pass, maintained possession, and then attempted what you just heard, the winning field goal, and they take the Orange Bowl 27-24. They will now play the winner of tonight's Ohio State-Texas game at 5:30 from Texas, the Cotton Bowl. But what a great game last night. I thought it was really cool to see some of the back pages throughout the country, something we do a lot here on the show. But it's normally these newspapers like the Post or the Daily News and you know big time papers like that typically don't talk college ever. But back page, New York Post, happy ending, and the N and the D were highlighted, which was super cool. Newsday, pluck of the Irish. Notre Dame advances to the CFP final after a late pick, kick seal, comeback win. I think this is the the Chicago Tribune. Golden ticket in Pittsburgh. Kick in the guts. Of course, Pittsburgh closer to the Penn State. And then what do we got here? This is Atlanta. Irish Atlanta bound after a thrilling Orange Bowl win. So some really good headlines as Notre Dame is ready to go down. And what's interesting, they will go down as the one that secured the universe's beloved independent model. You think about that. The reward is $20 million. Ooh, man. Their deal with NBC is $50 million. So you got the CFP payout of $20 million, moves to Notre Dame to a $70 million because of what they just did. And you got to love that with the SEC just sitting back, just saying, oh, man.
Rub a little salt in the wound to that SEC. Well, the $70 million are they're going to corral here. They should be set for their NIL for many, many years aside from all the other money that they've got coming in. What a great game. And you with it being 10-3 at halftime with Penn State taking the lead, Leonard goes down, looks like he got dinged. His head hit the ground pretty hard. But I thought the Angeli kid did a pretty nice job. 6 for 7. Kept in the game in the second half. It was all about Notre Dame's running game getting on track, getting after. But there's Penn State. Making that, they hung in there. And for Lair to make that throw, knowing that basically, let's try to get into field goal position, try to win it during regulation. But you didn't have to force that throw off his back foot, pressure on him, coming back to the backside on a dig route. But a great pick, great interception that time to do that. You just got to take care of the ball because if you don't get it down the field, maybe you punt it away and run the clock out and you go into overtime.
So you heard the ESPN call. Here is going to be the Notre Dame call of Mitch Jeter's game-winning kick.
Good snap, good hold, kick on its way, and the kick is on! Mitch Jeter, with 7 seconds left, gives the Irish a lead, 27-24.
I looked for a good hour, could not find the Penn State call. I tried everywhere. I was like, come on, somebody's got to have it. Because it's going to be a complete opposite. I love the local guys.
Sure.
Love it.
You know what? And Jex, I wasn't aware. I didn't realize the woes they had as far as field goal kicking early in the year. I know he got hurt I mean, they were the worst field goal kicking team, I guess, first 3-4 games of the year. I didn't realize the story.
No, they were the worst field goal kicking team the entire season.
Period.
They are the bottom, dead last after, even below Arizona State.
Really?
They were pretty bad.
Yeah, pretty bad. Well, their kicker, Mitch Jeter's been dealing with a groin injury the entire season.
Right, okay.
His dad's a chiropractor, help him, get better,
Get him right.
better. He was 1 for 2, I want to say, against India, but since then he's been 5 for 5. And that's been the crucial thing, to have a kicker. I mean, you saw ASU the entire season not wanting to kick. You can get 3 points, better than none. So he stepped up last night. That might have been one of the weirdest curves on a kick I think I've ever seen.
That was it. I thought it was going right.
It was going right, and then sit back. I think it might have been Jesus pushing over the ball a little bit. I don't know.
Touchdown Jesus came to the rescue for Notre Dame, get him to a national championship game.
One great storyline, of course, Notre Dame coach Marcus Freeman would become the first black coach to win a title if they do beat the winner of Texas and Ohio State tonight. Of course, that game is on January 20th. We'll be at DraftKings. We're doing our show before the game, so if you don't have plans yet, January 20th, it's 2 Mondays from this Monday that we'll be at DraftKings at TPC Scottsdale. Let's hear from the coach now, as here's Marcus Freeman says his team fought hard and they found a way to get the win.
They found a way when it matters the most to get their job done. Penn State was a heck of a football team. I had a lot of respect for them coming into the game, but have more after the game. It's a really good team.
What's he going to say? I mean, they went toe-to-toe. It was pretty much a slobber knocker, if you will, for a while. I mean, both defensive lines. It was just a matter of who could get the turnover, and sure enough, Notre Dame got the turnover. They get a couple good runs, and next thing you know, they're in field goal range to make that bad boy. And you think Riley Leonard, I mean, here's a kid that came back, shook off the getting dinged, if you will. Maybe had the ammonium capsules on the side. Yeah, snap went off.
You'll hear from him in just a minute.
And you just kind of break that over, and you think, okay, this kid's feeling, because at any time, if he gets hit in the head again, he's done. And the Angeli kid will be coming in.
One more from Coach Freeman on his excitement about moving on.
I'm really proud of him, excited for this next opportunity. We'll enjoy this thing today and tomorrow before we figure out who our opponent is, and then we got to get healthy and get back to work for one less guaranteed.
They are banged up, but everybody is.
Well, they are. I would have 2 tackles were out, and then you have the young quarterback in there for a while. Mm-hmm. But they just found a way. I think their defense came up strong. But with the kid with the 3 touchdowns for Penn State, you're going, they're on a roll. They're running downhill, and you just saw them get a couple of stops if you Notre Dame get that ball back.
Here's Fighting Irish quarterback Riley Leonard on returning from that injury to finish the game.
Got up a little wobbly, so that's an indicator that they got to bring me to the 10 and go take me through all the concussion tests. So we went through all the tests, and they decided I was good to go back.
Well, again, in the National Football League, I wonder if he would have came back. You think about that. If he got dinged, if he passed all the so-called tests in the National Football League, you probably seen him not play. But I'm glad he did play. If he felt good, he could. How many fingers I got up? Do the ammonia capsule? Do whatever he felt. And I'm glad they kind of held him back. I think they did that for protocol.
Yeah, probably had to, didn't they?
Just to kind of
figure all the eyes are on him. So.
Oh yeah. And then thinking, well, if they'd have put him back in and he would have stumbled and fumbled and had some issues, they'd have said, why are you putting this kid out there? So I think it was fine that they had Angeli go ahead and played out the half, bring him back, clear the head, move forward.
Here's Penn State head coach on the other side to get perspective. Here's James Franklin.
They did a great job. We knew it was going to be a fourth quarter game and come down to a possession, and that's exactly what happened. So give Notre Dame a ton of credit. I wish them the best of luck moving on.
Yeah, he's always been a class act. I think everybody would agree. You would have been happy for Penn State to advance as well.
I think either one of them. I just felt that Notre Dame, was just a little bit more on a roll. But they went, I guess, Penn State, what they did this year to ignore the noise and go toe-to-toe Notre Dame, who now moves on to the championship game, speaks volumes of what Coach Franklin is doing for that program and maintaining that kind of level at that program.
Game could have went a different way if this interception late in the fourth quarter didn't happen by Penn State quarterback Drew Aller. It's Aller, right? I was hearing some people were saying Aller too.
Aller.
It is Aller, right? That's what I thought, because even SportsCenter this morning, one guy said Aller, and I'm like, dude, I know it's Aller. Here is Drew Aller.
Yeah, I mean, I was going through my progression, got to the backside, and honestly, I was just trying to dirt it at his feet, but
10-minute mark coming up right now.
should have just thrown it away.
Yeah, that's a tough throw. I mean, that's like about a 25-yard throw, and he was getting hit as he was trying to come through the ball. That's one of those that if you get back, if he could have stepped up, put that ball low in front on that dig route coming across.
Would have changed everything.
It would have changed everything.
Most likely.
But had a hell of an interception, too.
Yeah.
He dove in there,
No
got
question.
his hands up underneath it. The ball didn't move. They checked it and double-checked it. I mean, you're going, oh, my gosh, Notre Dame, to your point, Jax. Yeah, touchdown Jesus on their side in reference to get that pick, get a couple of runs, set the ball up, and get the game-winning field goal.
So, of course, Notre Dame takes care of Penn State. Each of the remaining coaches that are still out there is not only fighting for their first national championship, but also potentially a big salary bump. As tonight will feature two of the highest-paid coaches of the year, Longhorn Steve Sarkisian as well as Ryan Day. Both earn a little bit more than $10 million a year. Sark received a raise and a contract extension in February, while Day's most recent deal was signed in 2022. So Sark is 10.6, Ryan Day is 10, Marcus Freeman is 9, James Franklin is 8.5. So if you go back to 2 years ago with Kirby Smart at Georgia, he got a raise of $3 million, roughly $7 million to $10.25 million for his first championship that he got in 2021. Then he got another bump in 2024. So right now he's the highest paid coach at about $13 million. You can even go back as far as 2020. One of my favorite coaches, Ed Orgeron at LSU, he went from $4 million to $6 million when they won the title in 2019. So you could see all these coaches all trying to, hopefully get a bump. Dabo Swinney got a couple bumps, and now we'll see if Marcus Freeman's going to get another extension. And because they're private, they don't, it's not public, but there's been reports out there that he's between $7 million and to more than $9 million, which it could be even more than that.
You know what? If you're a college coach making that kind of money, let's say $8 to $12 million, why would you move on to pro football knowing you could be there 2 years or 3 years, knowing you're going to be at a college for 5-6 years, get an extension. And now with the NIL in place, you're going to keep a lot of your players. You don't have to recruit as hard or as much as far as getting out and about, the way the portal's set up and the way guys come on campus and visit, or you call them and have your guys deal with them. You have quite the, I would say, exhaustibility in trying to recruit some of these kids. So these guys making $10 to $12 million a year, shoot, why do you want the aggravation that you're going to be betting on the come? You may last a year or 3 years in pro football and not have to deal with, well, if I don't at least win my second year, I'm going to be gone. Well, you got a pretty much a for sure thing at $10, $12 million a year in college football. I don't know. You want to move on.
I mean, there's two sides of it. The thing that's made college football a lot different is they're now hiring GMs.
Sure.
There's a lot of GMs now, and the GMs kind of playing that role as the head coach in a way, because they're handling the transfer portal. But you could flip on the other side of that, Manuch, and say, oh, it's too hard to keep my players, and these kids are all enabled, and you could go on and on. I don't know. I think I would rather have the NFL job than the college.
Well, I would too. I would too. But I mean, if you're a coach,
you're not fundraising all the time.
Yeah, but if you're a college coach and your school's paying that kind of money, I guarantee you that school's got the money in their collective for the NIL people. Now, if you're a coach that's at $3 to $4 million and you're always struggling to get that money in your collective and for NIL deals, and you go, wow, I'm making $3.5. All of a sudden, the Bears want to hire me. They like me because I'm winning, but it's hard for me to be in the collective and do all those things. Then at that point, you go to National Football League, maybe you make $6 or $7 million. To your point, you don't have to worry about all those headaches.
Yeah, do you want to be like, Kenny Dillingham as his, after that win against BYU, remember the Rounders, John Malkovich paid the man his money.
Yes,
remember that impression he did. I mean, now, that's all he talks about, even the commercials and everything like that. The next 6 months for Arizona State are crucial.
Sure they are.
To capitalize on this playoff run.
Right.
And if people aren't going to throw any money in now, I can't imagine they're going to do it later.
Yeah, and that's a great point, Rock, to the point of, okay, he can make his $6.5 million, whatever he's going to make now on his extension. But if he's still struggling to get the players, which I hope he doesn't. I hope the folks at ASU step up for him. I think that he goes after 3, 4, 5 years, look, we're not getting the quality of athlete to win it all. Yeah, we made the playoffs, but we need this much more money, and he's not getting it. And at that point, maybe a Kenny Dillingham goes, you know what? I've done all I can do in college. I've got a couple guys after me at the pro level. If I can go make another $2 or $3 million a year and not worry about all that, I get it. Now, Nick Saban had been doing it for many, many years. He was making phenomenal money. He didn't need the money. He just got tired of the chase. He got tired of chasing these guys, these kids coming in and renegotiating. The straw that broke the camel's back for Nick Saban was that when he had guys just after their bowl game, was it last year, wanted to come in and renegotiate, he said, you know what? I've done all I can do. I've got national titles. I've got more money to last me for 25 lifetimes. I'm out. I'm done. So I can see that side of it as well.
You know, one thing, we talked about this a little bit yesterday with the Sun Angel Collective. You know, they sold a bunch of memorabilia right after the Peach Bowl, and they sold out in like 30 minutes. But I got to be honest with you, I haven't seen any ads that are popping up on my social media, on my television, anywhere I am. And I'm probably as much as you are, as well as Jackson, everybody else that we are in the industry, and I have yet to be solicited for a Sun Angel Collective donation.
And you're a season ticket holder.
Yeah, but that doesn't. I mean, yeah, but but it's a different deal because it's through the marketing and the radio show. But I think that you would think with us talking about it quite a bit. Mm-hmm. That they will be soliciting. Like, there should be ads running tonight in the Cotton Bowl for the Sun Angel Collective. Hands down.
I would agree.
Show the success of beating BYU. Show the success of Iowa State. You know, show all just use Scatterboo. You know, and or market it. Sure. I don't understand. I saw something in the Sports Business Journal that I just could not believe, and I got to read this to you. It says, we obviously were able to be part of the CFP, and now we have this national eye on this. Her name is Brittany. I don't know how to say her name. Willett. She's the executive director of Sun Angel Collective.
Okay.
She goes, the amount of people that have reached out and been like, I've never watched an ASU game, but I just saw this game, are now cheering for the Sun Devils going forward, has been pretty significant. So she obviously knows that there are a lot of people that are watching her product.
Eyeballs are on them.
Then go after them. Sure. Spend the money. Spend some of that collective to get more money. Spend money to make money. This is marketing 101. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be a jerk right now, but it is embarrassing that they are not soliciting more. They are not marketing. They should be a marketing machine trying to get more people to make a donation.
Well, I think especially when you see what Notre Dame is going to make with their TV money and with their playoff money, the amount of money they're going to make, that's kind of not that you can reach that bar, that's $70 million you got to go chase in order to keep your top-notch guys, which they have this year. But next year, if they falter a little bit, and if they, let's say, they don't make the playoffs or they struggle, will that money be there? And on the other side of it, Rock, I would look to get at least a 5-year commit out of those individuals.
That's hard, though. Come on.
I know
I'm
it
not
is.
going to make a 5-year commitment. It's hard enough to, make commitments on other stuff. I think just crawl before we walk. Get a 1-year commitment.
I understand. And our thing at K-State's a 1 year. But
yeah, so you're trying to get 5?
But some of them, they do give you the option for $10,000 your lifetime. And then that kind of stuff. I mean, I understand your marketing. You say you're the marketing guru. So I would say, heck, why wouldn't they? Hell,
man, I'd be all over
you for a marketing consultant.
I'd be all over television right now during the playoffs. You only have this small window. And
good point.
Place some ads on DirecTV here locally and Cox here locally. Come on.
Yeah. Strike while you're hot, right?
You have to.
It's forefront right there.
I want this program to do so well. That's the only reason why I'm on my little pedestal right now, trying to bark and get someone to listen, because I truly believe that this so-called sleeping giant has woken up.
Well, I think what we all want to see, Rock, is we want to see him maintain that level. We don't want to see a Rose Bowl every 20 years type of thing, or get to a big bowl game. I think now that fans, and I think what Kenny is really trying to preach is, we want to make this a year in and year out. That's kind of his mantra for the collective.
Yeah.
We want to maintain this. We need the money. We need this. We need that.
They keep winning, they're going to have the money.
Exactly.
But they gotta get the money, though.
Well, that's the whole issue. Now, how you do it, there's going to be
there's a lot more smart people.
Well, I get it. I
but
understand.
here we are trying to help promote them.
Sure.
And I want them to do well, and I hope that someone's listening.
Well,
someone's going to do something because I don't think they've done a good job of taking advantage of this.
I agree, Rock. I would agree with you, and I don't want to see that sleeping giant go back to sleep. I think that's a lot of people want to say, okay, you're there. Let's maintain. Let's get you back to a Tier 1 program, not a Tier 3 that happens every 5 years to get to a Tier 1 type of play. We want you to be there every year. So if that's the case, to your point, they're going to have to market the hell out of this and keep marketing the hell out of it.
They got to market it when it's hot, and it's now. You got 2 more weeks.
Yeah, I would say so.
And then we're not going to talk college football until the summer.
It's true.
Okay, we'll talk about a couple players here, spring practice, but it's going to be very quiet.
Yes, it will.
NCAA basketball will take over when it comes to the collegiate level, and then that's it. And then they're gonna be chasing it in August before the first game, saying, "Oh my gosh, we got to get some money in here."
And here's the other reason why I just think about Cam Scatterby not coming back. I think a lot of people go, "Well, who's going to be your next Cam Scatterby?"
Well, I think there's some more people.
No, I get it. I understand, but I'm just saying, well, people think like, well, they're not going to quite have that team. Well, in order to have that team, you got to commit to it. That's why I say, if you're going to do this on a year-in, year-out basis, you got to commit to it because you're going to have your ups and downs. But if you want to maintain that kind of level and you want to maintain that kind of a situation year in, year out, you have to commit as a donor. And guys are going to come and go. But you can keep them there longer if you want to. And thank goodness somebody stepped up for Sam Lovett. He's going to return. He said he was going to come back no matter what. But as we all know, money talks. So that's a good thing. But people have to commit no matter who is on the field in order to maintain that kind of level that Kenny Dillingham wants to have and not fall back. They want him to continue to move forward.
So, sadly, the fires in Southern California have forced the movement of the wild card game between the Rams and the Vikings to State Farm Stadium over there in Glendale. That is just sad that this has got to this point.
3 minutes.
I'm watching these videos today and yesterday.
So sad.
I'm so sad.
Gosh.
But the damn idiots that are filling the back of their truck with gasoline and driving around are these kids that are starting fires. And I'm saying to myself, WTF, what the hell's going on here? What is wrong with people? You want to burn your backyard down?
It's amazing. As a matter of fact, the winds, I think, picked up again last night. So I guess out of these fires, there's like maybe 6%, one of them containment. But to watch the news late last night, Rock, and to see the drones and the helicopters, to see entire cities, the size of Manhattan, New York, folks, to put into perspective, has burned down. That's incredible when you see that.
So tickets just went on sale at 1 o'clock for the general public. And all you have to do is go to Ticketmaster.com. I'm in queue right now. I got 10 people ahead of me. So I'm in queue.
It's not bad.
To see what's out there. Because I want to see how much tickets are. Because remember when they did this before, tickets were $25. And then one year, you brought a can of food, right?
Yeah,
you got in.
Donation.
So looks like tickets start as low as $81, and they could go up to a couple $1,000.
So those Viking fans and what Ram fans we have, or there could be a lot of Ram fans over in LA that are online that are going to make the trek over here.
You got uppers for about $100. You 50-yard line, $950. That's a little much. $950, $949. What you're seeing already is people buying the tickets and then posting them on other websites to try to get a piece of the action.
Game time.
Taking advantage of it. Yeah, you know what? There might be a lot of folks that just walk up at game time and see what they can get at the windows via the digital way. I guarantee this will be a very strong Minnesota Viking fandom that'll be there on Monday night.
Will it though?
I think it will.
I have friends that are going to pay $949 for a ticket.
I already had a couple of guys, Viking fans. Hey, Manuch, if you have any,
oh dude, I got tickets. 20 yesterday.
I can't help you.
No, and it's funny because we're in the industry. Right? I had this one guy who's prominent. Dad owns a franchise. Okay, he's texting me, hey, I need 6. I'm like, I'm not a freaking ticket broker. Go to Ticketmaster. They go on sale at 1 o'clock tomorrow. And get your own damn tickets.
Yeah.
I mean, it pisses me off that so many people ask for tickets and they assume that they're free. Sure. We got a very good friend of ours that has been asking us for tickets who's in the industry. And I wish he was listening because I know he's out of town. He's not. And, when there's people even in the industry. And I said to him point blank, what have you ever done for me?
Oh, look at you, Rob.
I did because I was tired of it.
Yeah.
No, I'm like, you want me to buy your kids Girl Scout cookies? You want me to freaking put money in there to go to some charter school? I'm like, what do I get out of this? Now you want my Fiesta Bowl tickets? No.
Yeah,
No.
pick a rep whenever.
I just like, oh gosh, it's going to be one of those Fridays. Well, speaking of uncensored and unfiltered, Sean Salisbury is going to join us coming up here in just a bit, but we'll have our sports update from Jackson. You listen to Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B on ESPN 620 Phoenix, live from Wright Toyota.
Hey, Arizona, it's Mike Wilbon. I've been around sports professionally
with Sean Salisbury here in just a moment and talk to him about the Houston Texans. He's out there in Houston, as well as get his thoughts on last night's Notre Dame win and who he thinks is going to win tonight. He may even be at the Cotton Bowl because he's there in Houston, not too far from Dallas, right? A few hours.
If they can avoid they're supposed to get like 1 to 3 inches of snow, plus the big ice storm that's coming through all that area. So hopefully folks can get around AT&T there, the stadium, which is right there by the baseball stadium. Should be a great game tonight. I don't think it's going to be kind of a blowout per se. If Texas gets on a roll, Ohio State gets on a roll. But a lot of guys are saying, hey, this could be one of those close, tight games. I think both teams will open it up. I'm thinking maybe a 35-31, something like that.
So you're opposite than the books because it opened up 1.5, and now it's up to 6.
Yeah.
So the early lines had Ohio State favored by 1.5, and then now it's gotten up to a 6 in the last couple days. I had it at 5. I ended up getting it 6 because I would have liked to have gotten it higher. But
You just didn't think if Ohio State can stay hot the way they're throwing the ball, getting the ball up and down, the running game. I mean, they're hitting on all cylinders now. I think Chip Kelly is feeling it. And you didn't really get a chance. I was sitting there thinking when Chip Kelly was at Oregon and Sarkisian was at USC, the kind of games that they had in those days when Oregon was starting to come around and USC was still like they were the bell cow of the Pac-12. But I just think that, the one thing is, I think for Texas, I think Ewers is the common denominator for Texas, how well he plays, if he's consistent. If the running game can make, average 3.5 to 4 yards against this incredible Ohio State defense. So I think things might be kind of be at that point where you're looking at, all right, they're going to fill each other out. I think in the second half, much like most of these bowl games, Rock, we'll start to open things up.
So Carson Beck is going to Miami. He was in the transfer portal less than 48 hours. The former Georgia quarterback. You knew because of the changes there in Oregon that he was going to find a spot somewhere. And this is the second straight year that the Miami Hurricanes have landed a top quarterback out of the portal. They landed Cam Ward out of the portal last year. And he did quite well, 4,300 yards passing, 39 touchdowns, only 7 picks. But Carson Beck, I think Carson Beck, we were expecting, better numbers from him, weren't we? He was the Heisman Trophy candidate. He was the top
projected number 1 overall pick.
Yes.
This upcoming draft. I think it's going to be interesting. If he comes to a place where Mario Cristobal, I don't know how great of a coach he is. There was a lot of games this year where I thought he sold them, and instead of having a victory, they had an L against Syracuse or against Georgia Tech. They lose a ton of guys offensively. They may bring back Damian Martinez, a running back. But look, Carson Beck will be able to throw it out. A weaker ACC conference, just kind of puzzled by the move. But hey, his girlfriend goes there, so she's a basketball player.
And the young guy from for Georgia now that's in there, that they pay him, I think, pretty. Yeah, because Rashada, who was there, who was at ASU, and then here he's moving on. I didn't see if he got placed here. He's going anywhere in particular. But I think with Beck this year, look, the inconsistencies, I don't know why. He took a step back. I think he tried to force a few things. It's almost like he had a back in 2023. Maybe the receivers go. As far as mechanics and all that, he seemed relatively fine. But to your point, Jax, I think if you got to have some dudes around you if you're going to be successful at Miami. And I'm not sure who the offensive coordinator is at Miami. I know Cristobal has a say in a lot of it, but I'm not quite sure who the OC is. But that offense, they do get the ball down the field watching Cam Ward this year. So I think he should do fine. He's just not the runner that Cam Ward can be as far as that, how much versatility you want in that offense.
Do we have any idea what kind of money he's getting?
Cam Ward, what do you think, Jax? Maybe
Beck.
2.5 or Beck. I know Ward was making a ton. He might be at the $2 million mark. Maybe $1.5 to $2 million, $3 million.
You don't think he makes more than Sean
on the line.
Than a Sam Levitt? I don't know.
I think he'd be making more. I think his market's higher than one Sam Levitt.
Sean Salisbury now joins us on the Right to It guest line here on ESPN 620. How we doing there, Sean? What's going on?
We're doing good. How you guys doing, man?
Doing good, man. We got a new home now, so we appreciate you kind of coming on with us here at our new station, so we're pretty excited about it. So, yeah.
Congratulations. I saw the post a while back, so congratulations, and looking forward to an epic 2025 from all of us. I'm happy for you guys. You deserve it. That's a long-standing team, so good.
20 years, though. Come on, Sean. It's a little longer. I've never been in a relationship that long, so I may need you because you're like a professor now, right? You could help me, Sean, right?
Therapy?
Yeah, therapy.
Yeah, I am a professor, but I can tell you this. The reason you haven't been in a relationship that long ain't because the other person's fault. I'll tell you that.
Thank you. I'll let her know that. All right, that's good. Hey, Texans. They're going in the right direction right now. It seems as though the pundits, Rex Ryan, so many people out there are saying this is just a what do you call it? A bye week, basically.
A bye week?
Yeah. What's that all about?
Yeah. Well, first off, if you're a member of the Texans or the Chargers, if you heard Rex Ryan said, shut your TV off and don't buy into it. And if you're the Texans and you heard what Rex Ryan said, you're an idiot if you use – I know we're all looking for motivation, but I don't think Rex is going to make a throw, a play call, a tackle in the game. So do I really give a fuzzy rat test with him and Stephen A. Smith think on this? Absolutely not. Now, or Greeny and the rest of them, God bless them, but if he got what he wanted, we're all talking about it. And I love Rex. He's classic. But if you need that, as a player for the playoffs to say, yeah, I'm playing because Rex pissed me off, then I would suggest you take 2 weeks off and find something different to do because your focus, the playoffs should need no motivational speech but everybody looks for locker room fodder. But I can tell you this, the one drive last week against Tennessee looked like a team that, 6 for 6 by the quarterback. But this year I thought they were trending in the wrong direction offensively. Their defense guys will fly around. And they're back in. They've got, Stingley with an all-pro year, first team. Lassiter and Bullock, both rookies, made the all-rookie team, first or second team, I believe. When Petrie's healthy, which he's not, then you got another monster. They're building their edge rush. Their defense will keep them in this game. My problem is, can they handle the Chargers do not give up a lot of plays, chunk plays, meaning, the explosive 15, 20-plus yard plays. One of the best in the league, and Derwin James is a freak. And they get after you with the pass rush, and the weakness for the Texans is consistency and aggressiveness on offense, but protecting the pocket and giving Stroud a chance to set his feet because he has taken a step back, been a little skittish, and those hits take their toll. So they're capable of a monster day, but with injuries at wide receiver, and I would imagine the goal for the Chargers is not to let Nico Collins or Joe Mixon destroy the game and take it over. If you make them one-dimensional, if the Chargers can make them one-dimensional, they'll beat the Texans. I like the Chargers in the game because I haven't seen 4 quarters from the Texans offensively where it's been like, wow, this year. You see it from every team. For some reason, they have not been able to string together 4 quarters of wow factor football on offense. Give me the Chargers in a field goal type game, regardless. I know they're playing it here. But
you can go past the 40, but you guys are coming up on a minute.
They're rooting for them and going to be there. But they don't trust them yet. And after 17 games, that's a trend.
Well, we got a big game there in your state there in Dallas tonight, Ohio State, Texas. Just want to get your thoughts on just a real quick recap on the Notre Dame-Penn State game and your thoughts about this big game tonight. Is it the first one in tonight's game to 22 or the first one to 42 in tonight's game?
I would lean more towards track meet than listen, guys, of the top 7 defenses and of the top 7 defenses in the league in this Final Four, 4 of them were all 4 teams were in the top 7 defensively. Penn State, Notre Dame, Ohio State,
30 seconds till the 40,
and obviously Texas physical. And we look at Ohio State and we say, oh man, that's a track meet team. But the truth is, they got a freshman receiver, Smith, that's off the charts. But all teams are physical and play defense. Last night's game, going into it, Manuch, this is the first time in years that I've seen a Notre Dame team with excessive speed. They're usually a little slow. They can grind, but fast teams are causing problems. Going into it, I said the difference in the game for me will be quarterback.
There's the 40.
At doggone ability, they run, and it paid off, and they got key turnovers. I had Notre Dame by 3 going into the game. I picked them, and they ended up. But both teams are really good. And they're going to have to pass the ball better to win the championship, obviously. And in this game, Longhorns, I would say lean more towards, I would take more in the 30s than I would the 20s, even though defenses are good. There's too much explosiveness on the perimeter. The most talented team in America from this August to now, most talented, has been Ohio State all year long. Now, the way Ohio State's playing, they may not only be the most talented, they may be the best because they just dismantled Oregon. So I still think Texas stays in it. If Ewers plays like he did the last quarter and a half against Arizona State, the Longhorns will win the game, and they can run it. Keep an eye on the interior physicality and which quarterback has people at their feet. Howard's been consistent, but Ewers can be spectacular. I'm actually going opposite. I think
1 minute till 42.
But if I was gambling, I would take 6 points and take Texas. I think Texas can pull it off. I think Sarkisian will have something up his sleeve. Give me Texas and Notre Dame in the final.
Have you made plans for spring training out here yet? It is a new year. It's that time there, Sean.
Be sooner than that. Be sooner than that. I'm a owner in a company of a tactical flashlight, under the gun flashlight that I think is going to be a friggin' gold mine, and so do other people. We're going to the SHOT Show in Vegas to present it there to people in the middle of January, late January, and then I'm going to be out west there with you guys for a minimum of a month to 6 weeks. So in the next 3 weeks, we'll be there.
Awesome. We'll look forward to it, buddy. Thanks for the time today. Have a good weekend.
Get invited into the studio or one of your get invited to the studio or one of your 47
Twin
remote
Peaks
locations.
Yeah.
So popular.
We'll take you to Twin Peaks. How's that?
I can do that.
Be there.
Who doesn't want to go to Twin Peaks? That's all I know about. And I will tell you this: I'll have an announcement for you nationally here.
Ooh.
About some new national stuff. 2 of them coming down the pike by the next time we talk. Hopefully, it'll be done.
Love it. Can't wait to hear. Thanks, Sean. Have a good one. Have a good weekend.
Appreciate you guys. Congrats, man. Thanks.
Thank you. Sean Salisbury joining us here. We went a little long. We'll come back with more Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B right here on ESPN 620.
intro here.
Right on the corner, right on the price. Wright Toyota, located at 77th Street and Frank Lloyd Wright Boulevard in Scottsdale. Now back to the guys on ESPN 620.
Anthony Soprano, Detective Gaudioso, Essex County. I have a warrant for your arrest. Did you bring the whole county with you? We don't take any chances.
Will you tell them he's got a medical condition? This is his family doctor right here. Ask him.
I told you people I didn't want any questions, Judge.
You kind word.
Mr. Federal Attorney.
That was my father's line every year.
You had to have your cheap headline, huh? Can you really not be aware we've been building a RICO case against Tony Soprano?
T, what's up? You talked to the guy with the air mattresses? I'm in editing. We just saw the cut of Cleaver. And? Awesome as is.
Danny says he hears it's Larry Baris been talking.
Feds are doing some digging over by Brantford Avenue.
You're different since that stuff.
I'm going to go ahead and make your guys' mics hot. You got 10 seconds left in the brew.
It might help to be in this beautiful spot with people that I love. I couldn't ask for more.
Oh, I don't know. I'm not looking forward to the end. I'm really not.
26 years ago today, 1999, The Sopranos premiered on HBO. It ran for 6 seasons before going out with Journey's Don't Stop Believing. Remember the quick fade to black? They had a little montage from The Sopranos, one of the greatest shows of all time. 41 years ago today, 1984, the very first Wendy's Where's the Beef commercial hit. How about that?
I remember that very well.
You do?
Absolutely.
You remember how it went?
Where's the beef?
No, little gal. Well, we have her do it.
Okay.
It certainly is a big bun. It's a very big bun. Big fluffy bun. It's a very big fluffy bun.
Where's the beef?
Some hamburger places give you a lot less beef on a lot of bun.
Where's the beef?
At Wendy's, we serve a hamburger we modestly call a single. And Wendy's single has more beef than the Whopper or Big Mac. At Wendy's, you get more beef and less bun.
Where's the beef? I don't think there's anything.
You want something better. You're Wendy's kind of people.
God, that was in the 80s, right? I mean, where's the beef? That's kind of like now, what's in your wallet, or back in the 90s.
Sure.
He went to Jarrett.
But you can hear that to this day for years and years how it pays off. Just that one moniker, that one line.
On this day is brought to you by the DraftKings Sportsbook at TPC Scottsdale, the area's best kept secret for sports entertainment. It's right across the street where we're at today. We'll be broadcasting there from 1 to 4 for the national championship on January 20th. That's DraftKings at TPC Scottsdale. Well, we're going to start something next week, but I want to start it this week just as a kind of a teaser. It's called Free Food Fridays. And every Friday, pizzas and wings.
I like that.
So I saw a story today that said it was Pizza Hut that did a poll and asked, what's the best day to order a pizza? And they said Friday, followed by Saturday and Wednesday. So they came out with some trends. I'm not going to go through all of them, the Hawaiian's topic and all that, but one that I thought was interesting when it comes to the right way to eat a slice of pizza. Do you fold it, not fold it, or eat it with a fork? Manuch.
I never fold it.
Oh, you're Italian.
Yeah, no, I never fold it. I always just eat it just normal.
That's not normal.
Well, for me it is.
No, it's not.
I've never done the folding.
You're doing it the wrong way.
Only time I use the knife and the fork is when I heat it up in the micro or
that's
something
a
like
crime.
that. And that's hot. But I don't
Jackson?
I don't do the fold.
I don't fold it up that much.
Oh, my God. Connor?
Oh, yeah, I'll fold the pizza.
Oh, boy. I do. You're going to stick, dude. I really think you're going to stick.
Because if you fold it, then the first bite you have is the bottom of the crust, whereas the normal bite, you would have the cheese with the sauce in there.
No, you fold it.
But if you're an offensive lineman with 12 years of training, baby, you just go back for another slice of pizza.
Yeah, let me ask you guys this real quick, and we'll move on. The average American, fill in the blank, the average American eats how many slices a year?
Ooh.
Makes you think, doesn't it?
Sure does. I'm going to say 125.
All right.
125.
Jackson?
I'm going to go 126. I'll write them.
Oh, no, it's got to be much more than that. I'm thinking in the high 300s, 400s for most people.
288.
Wow, it's up there. I know at least
95 billion slices nationwide.
Wow.
I'm probably 5, 6.
Are you really? I could eat pizza
3 times a week.
I could eat pizza every day, but I just don't get a chance to do it.
Hey, Football 50, we're a little late. The NFL is announcing the home teams for next season's London games. the Jaguars, of course, the Browns and Jets will all play home games in London next year. The Jags will play at Wembley, and then the Jets and Browns will play in that Hotspur Stadium. So the NFL will also play regular season games in Germany and Spain next season.
Well, the expansion continues. I mean, you imagine people in London going, we got the Browns and the Jets coming over, and Jacksonville coming over. All the losers in the NFL are going over there.
So if you would like a large one-item pizza with a pound of wings from one of our great partners at Arena Sports Grill, 62nd Street and Bell, be the 10th caller right now at 602-230-0620. 602-230-0620, and you'll get yourself a large one-item pizza with a pound of wings.
Nice. Very nice.
We do that every week.
I love that.
Every hour. Why not? You got Valencia stepping up. We got a lot of people stepping up.
Can I call in?
No.
I'm hungry now. Friday night's a pizza.
I just want to get this off my chest. I'm a little pissed off about something. You know, for 20 years now, Manuch and I have been doing this radio show, and for about 17 of those years, we've been doing our radio show here at Wright Toyota. We even have our own set here. We have a new sign that says Phoenix 620. We got the whole 9 yards here, right? But today, Manuch didn't get me coffee.
Oh, yeah, there's a reason.
What's the reason?
They're doing maintenance on the coffee machine.
Okay, but that was 2 hours ago.
Yeah, well, I can't just leave and go.
Manuch, you're going to leave early today anyway.
I was planning on going this break to get the Java for you.
God,
but it was under maintenance. I do
not have that.
Well, I know. My bad. I'll go back there and tell the lady, could you hurry it up already?
So that's why you yelled at Arizona State's NIL collective the first time.
I wasn't yelling at him. I was just trying to get a message across.
You were chastising.
No,
I hard recommendation.
I gave him a hard recommendation that they need to step up their marketing and get the Sun Angel Collective out there to the general public. Get it to the general public, as well as tap into the college football sports scene. Like last night on ESPN, buy some spots in the broadcast. You're not buying them nationally, you're buying local. And it's not that much money. You can afford it.
You're right. You were talking at them versus talking to them.
Is the coffee machine working?
I'm going to go back and check. Obviously, he's a little unnerved right now. The caffeine will calm him down. But I was the same way. I just drank more water just to kind of, you just get that. And
why change the subject? This collective I think is something that needs to be.
Well, I agree with you, Rock. I just think that
pound on.
I think those are great recommendations. Call the young lady that leads the Sun Angel Foundation. Say, look, what is the game plan? I think you bring up a great point. So if everybody wants to contribute, and whether they grew up a Sun Devil or not, they're going, hey, we want to support the Devils. What they went, they made the playoffs, they got the bye. Here they are, one of the 12 teams. What's their way of doing that? Is there a site? How do we get to it? What are some of the things? What are the mechanics for us to go contribute? Whether it's $10 or $100.
1 minute.
Any
That's the thing. The number doesn't need to be.
It doesn't need to be.
But isn't ASU like top 5 when it comes to alum in the country?
My gosh, yeah, they got like 80,000 students a year.
So you would think that you can just tap into that for $20 donation, $25, $100, even $100, whatever it is. Knowing that's going somewhere and we can see the results, which clearly you're going to see the results because we're seeing what's going on in college football.
Well, and you're going to have that money in there because it is now the minor leagues of football. And if you're going to treat it that way with general managers like a Mike Lombardi, who's joining Bill Belichick back at North Carolina, that model has been for several teams and will continue. So they're going to have to really push that forward.
We're going to catch up with Eric Moses, the Verbo Fiesta Bowl Executive Director and CEO, put a wrap on the Fiesta Bowl. Congratulations to Neil Schumann. He's a pool guy, works in the pool business, it looks like from his email. He is our winner. But we'll talk to Eric Moses next. It's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B right here from Right to It on ESPN Phoenix.
of the Verbo Fiesta Bowl and Rate Bowl. Eric Moses. This is our opportunity to take you behind the scenes and talk high-level college football. Eric Moses now on Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B on ESPN 620.
How about that? The Fiesta Bowl, the Verbo Fiesta Bowl, Penn State, Boise State. It drew some big numbers New Year's Eve, primetime slot, close to 14 million viewers across ESPN, ESPN2, and ESPNU on New Year's Eve. And if you're going to compare it, it finished better than Game 2 and Game 3 of the World Series on Fox. It did better than the women's gymnastics competition on NBC during the Paris Olympics, and any game in the NBA Finals on ABC. Joining us now to talk about it, as well as kind of look at tonight's game and last night's game, Eric Moses joins us now on the Right to It guest side. Eric, what's going on, man? Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year. Hey, I'm just glad I still get to come on and talk to you guys now. It's just so big time. You know?
Well, I don't know about that. I think maybe you helped us get over here, so we appreciate that. You know the head honcho over here, so maybe you said a couple kind words, and he said, "Okay, we'll let him come on 620." So no, we're excited to be here, big time. And I tried getting rid of Manuch. I thought Roc and Moses would have sounded good, but he paid me to stay on the show, so it's going to work out all right.
Eric, I've got more influential cousins than you do, I think.
Yeah, the Manuch.
Yeah, I think that's right.
So basically, you're done, right? I mean, we'll see you next, late December next year. I mean, you don't do anything else, right? This is just kind of a little bit of a break. You get a little vacation.
I wish. I'm down here in not that warm Miami, having watched a hell of a ball game last night at the Orange Bowl. And, I got to say that I was a little surprised by the outcome. I had thought for a long time, the entire season, that Riley Leonard essentially was going to make or break Notre Dame's team. A quarterback who typically doesn't throw for over 200 yards, runs the ball well, but isn't I don't think what anybody would call a running quarterback necessarily. He scrambles well. He takes advantage of what the defense will give him, but not really a running quarterback in the classic sense. But, he put the ball in the air in that second half, came back from after getting his bell rung, and frankly, I think he's the reason they won that game, along with a really stout defense.
Well, you got to look at that. All of a sudden, they got their running game going too, Eric. I mean, it was something that the switch flipped in that locker room. And to hear Coach Freeman, hear Leonard talk about what happened is something like, hey, the future is written by those that can, and to make sure that he put that out there. So whatever it was, but I love the physicality of the game. I loved how close it was. And I would have thought, when you looked, that's pretty much two evenly matched teams after it was all said and done.
I think that's right. I feel horrible for Drew Allard because, he made some mistakes that ultimately, I think, made it really difficult for Penn State to win when it looked like they had the momentum to close that game out. And frankly, having spent time around the Penn State team, both down in Happy Valley in the first round game and also out at our place last week, was kind of pulling in some ways for that school and for Franklin and the rest of those guys. So hell of a game. It was great to be there. The field looked beautiful. The stadium was packed, and it was exactly what we all want from a college football game.
Was the pageantry and all the pomp and circumstance surrounding the game any different than if it was just a regular Orange Bowl? We didn't have this kind of a magnitude of a playoff, or was pretty much enhanced?
I've not been to a non-playoff Orange Bowl, so it's hard for me to compare. I will say that what they've done with Hard Rock Stadium over the last, 10 plus years since they brought in the Formula One race and some of the tennis tournament and the other things they do there make that campus very appealing. And so they've got a lot of spaces there outside the building, but also a lot of really high-end clubs inside the building to cater to that high-end tennis and Formula One kind of clientele that made the venue, which is a pretty old venue, right? Like much older than State Farm and some of the others, but made it really appealing.
Eric, I want to talk about Marcus Freeman. Has a lot of ties to the Fiesta Bowl. He played in the Fiesta Bowl as a member when he was with the Bucs against Texas, and of course coached there. And they've won a national championship there. This is a great story with this guy, isn't it? And after the game, he did the interview, and it wasn't about him. Where they talked about him being, who could be the first black coach to win a national championship. But he said, hey, it's about the kids. It's about the program. And it just seems like whenever he speaks, you just kind of sit there and you're like, wow, if I want my son to go play for him.
Yeah, he's a pretty impressive guy. And you can tell the kids respect him and play for him. I think it's a great story. I'm personally happy to see an African-American coach finally coach in the FBS National Championship game and wish him luck. I do think, though, that it has to be about the kids, right? I mean, he doesn't get there without those kids. And so, Marcus is a great specimen, if you will, for what I think the modern day college football coach kind of needs to be like in terms of the way that they treat their team and relate to the public. I saw Paul Feinbaum posted something that said, Notre Dame was the most hated program in the country, and now Marcus Freeman has changed that.
Oh, I was just going to say that. Wow. I've known a lot of people go, wow, we really like Notre Dame. We follow Notre Dame because of Freeman. And one thing you brought up in reference to staying up with the Joneses, so to speak, that program is now staying up with college football. You don't have the big, clunky guys that are slow and smash mouth. He's got speed. He's got size. He's recruited and turned that program around, not only in the culture, but physically as well, too. That looked like a team of modern era that can compete for a title now.
Well, the guy played at Ohio State, right? So he's accustomed to what Big Ten football is like, having been a part of it. And I think, to your point, that team had to start to look more like a Big Ten / SEC team in terms of the elements, right?
Yes.
If you're going to compete with the big boys in that way, you're going to have to be able to compete with them on speed, on size, on technique, and certainly on recruiting. And it looks like that's where he's got them.
So, if Ohio State wins this game tonight, and it is a Notre Dame Ohio State, what do you think is going through his mind, being able to face a team that he went to? He went there, obviously. I mean, does he want to beat them bad, or do you have that? Oh man, this is my alma mater. This is Ohio State, the Ohio State.
At a certain point, I think your allegiances are where or who signs the paper.
That's right.
So
exactly right, Derek.
But I think Marcus will be all about Notre Dame.
But I don't think even Disney Productions could draw that up to that point. I mean, if he plays Ohio State, Ohio State grad, I mean, Disney would go, no, that's too far-fetched. If they were to look at that at the beginning of the year, yeah, maybe, but they might turn that script down.
But then he even played at Ohio State against Texas. So, I mean, there's so many nice tie-ins with this. Couldn't get any better than this.
How'd you set this all up like that, Eric? How'd you do that, man?
Been working for a long time on these stories.
Yeah, okay. Well, who do you like tonight, Eric? Who do you like tonight?
Man, if the last game against Oregon is any indication on what Ohio State is ready to do these days, I don't see anybody beating them. They look so good and so dominant against Oregon, a team that they played closely, Rock, as you know, because we saw it in person. They played them close up there at Austin.
Yep.
But they lost. And that team looked just so dominant. We know they have the best receiving crew in the country, but their defense played out, and my God, Will Howard looked like he is ready to play on the next level.
And Will Howard has seen the Texas, if you will, when he was in the Big 12. He's seen that program. He's seen those defenses.
Yep.
He understands what he's about to get into when he watches the tape and just goes, I know a little bit. Now, they'll make some things up, but he's familiar with that program.
Yeah, I think that's helpful to have some familiarity, and probably has played against some of the guys that he'll see on that defense. But none of that's really going to matter if his team ends up showing up the way that they did against Oregon. And they have all the motivation in the world. I mean, I know Marcus is trying to get Notre Dame back to its glory days, but Ryan Day, I mean, who's got it? I'll use the opposite of Harbaugh. Who's got it harder than him, right? I mean,
Sure.
this guy wins, almost every game, every season, save for maybe 1 or 2 games, and people have been calling for his head for years, and is one of the most successful coaches in college football. I mean, he needs a national championship this year. So there may be a little bit more, I think,
10-minute mark
anxiety around the Ohio State team, potentially, but they sure do have the horses.
When's the last time you've seen a true freshman like Jeremiah Smith do what he's doing on a football field? And
kid's unbelievable.
And not that you want to compare him to anybody, but the maturity and the physicality for a true 17, 18-year-old has been amazing.
Yeah, it's unreal, and putting aside what a physical specimen he is in terms of size and speed and strength, I mean, he is a grown man, and he shows every single week. So I don't know what Ohio State has done, but this pipeline of wide receivers that they have going on is pretty impressive. It reminds me of Penn State being, linebacker U back in the day, or USC being running back, the place where all the running backs went. They're churning out high-level wide receivers.
He's Eric Moses, Roc and Manuch here on ESPN 620. Of course, the Verbo Fiesta Bowl executive director and CEO, and the Rape Bowl. And I got to tell you, Eric, moving that game up, that being the Rape Bowl, the ratings were up 30% from last year. That's huge. I mean, I know it wasn't because of Manuch's Kansas State Wildcats. I know it wasn't them. But the fact that it moved up a lot, I think that is, hopefully we can keep it in that slot.
You can give us some credit there, Eric. That's okay. We'll take it.
Manuch, I always give your guys credit. Look, I saw one of the ESPN production guys at the game last night, and I said to him, 30% up. So that means you're guaranteed at the daytime kickoff next year. And he kind of laughed. So we shall see what our overlords at ESPN decide to do for that game. But I sure did love having it during the daytime, and I think there's so much more that we can do with it. If it is has a daytime kickoff.
Well, I can imagine the businesses loved it as well, too. The K-Staters that were down there, you had a few Rutgers folks up and down. I will say this, though, so many K-State folks have never been to that game over at Chase Field. They loved the setup. They couldn't tell any particular reason that it's actually a baseball field the way you had it designed and set up, and it's been like that forever.
Yeah, no, it was great, and I was pleased with the activation that Rutgers did, the boardwalk that they brought in outside. The fan festival was lively. It was a good look, and that's the kind of thing that we can repeat if we're not playing the game at 7:30 or 8:30 at night.
Mm-hmm. And then the Penn State, Boise State, the first CFP quarterfinal, primetime, New Year's Eve. That's not an easy time frame to get eyeballs, and it delivered on the ESPN platform. And I think they did better than all the first round games. What do you attribute that? Just the matchup being Penn State, Boise? Because I think, Eric, I know we're close to it. People are like, Boise State, maybe they shouldn't be there. But, man, people tuned in.
They tuned in. I think it's a good story. America likes an underdog, and so I think that probably played some part in it. Their fans sure as hell showed up. I think the whole state of Idaho came down to the Valley for that game. And look, I think us having an exclusive window, right, in terms of when it aired, helped a whole lot. We weren't worried about getting to the next game or any of that kind of stuff, and so we had our own window, and we were the only quarterfinal that day, and the very first one in history. And I think all of those things probably played a part in making certain that people were tuning in front of the televisions and frankly showed up in a big way and made it a great environment inside the venue as well.
Well, I think a lot of that is, the fans finally got what they wanted, 12-team playoff. The numbers are up viewing-wise. I mean, all over the place. Look at the numbers, the second halves. Interesting in some of these games, the second half numbers, the way they picked up versus the first half, because all of a sudden these games became games. And I think more than anything, that's the main reason why America finally has what they want.
I think that's right. And look, we've talked about it a number of times. Having a tournament-style playoff system that allows more teams to compete, more fan bases to get engaged, and to stay engaged throughout the entire season, because your season's not over just because you lost one game to your rival, Notre Dame, or not even your rival, right? To the team you pay $1 million to come get their heads kicked in, and you lose to them at home, but they're playing for a national championship in a week.
Eric, last one, just to put, give us kind of a snapshot at what goes on the next 6 months. You know, I'm too close to it, but I know Manuch and Jackson and our audience maybe doesn't really know what goes on with the Ray Bowl and Fiesta Bowl after the games are played. I know as a Yellow Jacket, we have another meeting coming up, already making plans for next year. But talk about, you know, basically what goes on over the next 6 to 8 months.
Yeah, I mean, the first thing is a debrief with all of our constituencies. I mean, that includes the CFP, that includes the Big 10, the Big 12, that includes the 4 teams that played in our game to ensure that we're getting feedback from them on what we did well and any of the things that they thought didn't go so well so that we can change that and ensure that our execution meets the mark next year. It is, you know, making certain that the other things, as you know, Rock, that we do out in the community and the other events that we're doing are being set up the right way. As you know, we're sponsoring this year the National Quarterback Club, which is on February 28th, and going to have some great quarterbacks including Carson Palmer, getting inducted into the Hall of Fame for the National Quarterback Club, and over at Caesars Republic. That's going to be a great event, so we're turning our attention to that and expecting you to do what you always do, Rock, and make it rain for us. We're looking at a lot of things, and also, as you know, and you and I have talked about this. I mean, a big part of my job, frankly, and our board's job, is to help try to look around corners. You know, this thing called college athletics and college football is not done changing.
Yeah,
and so we've got to be on our toes, figuring out how to best position this organization so that it can continue to make the kind of community impact and the kind of economic impact that it's made for over a half century in the state of Arizona.
You know, and to top that off, Eric, you think about, we've been talking about the NIL and the collective and how programs are going to turn. It's going to basically, I feel college football is minor league football now. We just can't lose.
Professional minor league football.
Yeah, professional minor league. We just can't lose the fact that we still want these young men and women and athletes to get educated on top of it. The trepidation, I believe, would be, how do we keep that, or how can we recommend that not get out of control and keep the student athlete realize you can't eat the football, can't eat the basketball, you still need to get educated per se?
Yeah, I think that's right. And I think, you know, as I've always said, I believe that we as a society, but certainly those who are involved in collegiate athletics and secondary education, higher education, owe these kids, these young men and women, an education in the classroom, in the meeting room, on the field of play, and in the community. And I don't think that this change and the fact that now they're able to make some money off of their unique skills and talents should relieve us of that responsibility and duty. And so, yeah, okay, kids are making money now. Let's teach them about how to save it.
Sure.
Let's teach them about how to invest it. Let's teach them about, you know, options to ensure that they can do what they want to do to help their families out to the extent that they can, but that they're putting nest eggs away for themselves, because most of them are not going to play on the next level. And if they do, they may not play for very long. And so if the most valuable time you have in your athletic career are those 4 or 5 years in college, let's make certain that you have something to show for it when you graduate. I think we owe that to them. And I think, you know, connecting them, and I've talked to a couple of athletic directors that are doing this, connecting these young men and women with alumni from these schools that are, you know, captains of industry, people who are involved as executives and entrepreneurs in various types of businesses. Let's educate them about that, about what they can do with some of this money. You know, I was reading an article the other day about Armando Baycott, who played at my alma mater in North Carolina on the basketball team. Kid took some of his NIL money and bought a hotel, right? So let's start educating these kids about what they can do now that they're going to have some dollars in their pocket and available to them.
You know, Rock was preaching about how ASU should be all over their alumni and their fans. Strike while you're hot for the NIL collective. I'm just curious, for one, Eric Moses has one Mike Lombardi, the new GM for the North Carolina Tar Heels, i.e. Bill Belichick, been contacted about contributing.
Yeah, you're helping with the collective?
Yeah, your big bucks that you donate every year.
They don't call poor people. So I haven't heard from them yet.
You're on the list. You're on the list.
They just haven't got to the M yet.
Yeah, they haven't gotten to the M yet. That's right. They haven't gotten to the M's. Hey, Eric, very well said, buddy. Safe travels back to the Valley, and thank you for the time today. Great job this year. It was a wonderful a wonderful month of games and hospitality and everything else. I don't think it could have went any better. The weather was perfect. It was just it was perfect, and it'll be even better in 2025. So thanks for jumping on with us every week. We appreciate you. We'll continue to catch up with you. Hopefully get you before the national championship. You're probably going to be there, right? I'm assuming you'll be there?
I will be there.
Okay, well, maybe if we can
be there with some rest of our crew.
Oh, maybe we get you to squeeze a phone call into us, to us little people on that Monday. So that'll be good. All right, buddy. Have a good weekend. Thank you.
Congratulations to you guys for the ESPN pickup. I think it's great. You guys deserve it. You do a great show, and you're great in this community. So thank you so much.
Appreciate it, Eric. That's Eric Moses, the Verbo, Fiesta Bowl, and Rate Bowl Executive Director and CEO. So I'm on the field with him, right? And he congratulates me and Hatch, of course, he's the head honcho here at the station. And he comes up and he's like, "So, you and Manuch on ESPN now." He goes, "Am I going to be able to come on your show anymore?" He thought we were going national.
Yeah. I had several people say, "Oh, so you're going to be national?" I was like, "No,
we're affiliates.
Pump the brakes. We've done that national thing."
I'm not doing that ever.
Yeah,
we did it twice.
Yes, we did.
We did it for Sporting News, and we did it for SB Nation.
Yes.
And it's just not what it's cut out to be. Everybody aspires to be the next Colin Cowherd, Dan Patrick. All right, those guys are a little bit unique.
Yes.
But when you're doing the weekend 4-hour shifts, from 4 to 8 East Coast time or whatever it was. I mean, it was 7 to 11 East Coast time.
Yeah.
And you're bringing on the guy who just won the NASCAR race, or
the IndyCar race,
or the tennis match. It's like, come on, because dog days summer, man, it can get rough.
It was interesting. We'd have calls from Hawaii. We'd have calls from New Jersey. We'd have calls from Miami.
One time we had Portland, Maine, and then Portland, Oregon.
Yes.
It's the same day.
And we get the truckers on the road. You get the people, especially when it's getting close to 11 o'clock at night. That was a fun part to get opinions from all around the nation.
Yeah.
But everybody is so geographically dialed in. What about Alabama this year? And it's mid-June, and we're here in Phoenix, Arizona, or in Scottsdale. We could handle and talk about it, but it was like, well, let's try to stay on topic here.
Yeah, it wasn't as fun as I would have liked it to be.
It was a lot of stuff.
A good experience. Hey, one note that Jack's pulled regarding Marcus Freeman. His first game as the Notre Dame head coach, and of course he played at Ohio State, was at Ohio State in 2022, and they lost 21-0. They were ranked second at the time, that being Ohio State. C.J. Stroud, of course, with the Houston Texans now, he threw for a couple touchdowns. Then the following week, Notre Dame gets upset by Marshall.
Well, I remember the rough start, so to speak, for and Jack's being that true Notre Dame fan. You know what? It was interesting that they, what was it, defensive coordinator for Kelly at the time? Is that right, Jackson?
Yeah, not even for like 3 months.
Yeah. So he was the new kid on the block, so to speak, coming from Ohio State. And you kind of went, well, okay, they vet everybody. They must feel this guy can take things over. Or maybe it was the moniker that they wanted to have because he's so much more even-keeled. Kelly would go off on whomever and whatever. And I would believe that that's one of the reasons why a lot of folks have really started to, whether you believe it or not, start to like Notre Dame and go, wow, this is a user-friendly Notre Dame, the coach, the team, the staff, versus, I can't stand Notre Dame. But why?
But the thing with Freeman, which I think a lot of naysayers at the time, guy had no head coaching experience.
Right. It was, sure.
He was a GA at Ohio State, Kent State, Cincinnati, Purdue,
right.
And then he was, the linebackers coach, DC, I think he must have showed somebody something there at Notre Dame, the athletic director, maybe his character, right. And they just said, this is the kind of guy we need.
Sure.
Because they vet these guys out big time, especially Notre Dame. But for him not to have a head coaching job anywhere, that's crazy.
Yes, was it his first full year they came to the Fiesta Bowl and Oklahoma State beat him? Was Freeman the head coach at the time when they came out here and Okie State whooped them?
Yeah, it was that same year in 2022.
Okay.
With Jack Cohn, when they were up by 25, 30 points, and Oklahoma State came back
and won that game.
Same exact year.
Okay, just watching this team, the kind of athlete, the kind of acumen that team has, the culture, has really, you go, wow, now they can hang with the rest of them, with the kind of athlete he has, and the kind of program he has, and the culture, whatever you want to call it, is really at the top of the peak.
In one more week or so to get in our Twin Peaks Fantastic Tailgating Sweepstakes. It's sponsored by Blue Moon and Coors Light. Of course, we've teamed up with Twin Peaks, and this is an incredible contest. It's coming to the end. All you have to do is text Peaks to 59925. You can do it once a day for your chance to win the grand prize, and that is a Traeger grill, a Blackstone griddle, a pizza oven, a cornhole set, a portable beer pong table, an outdoor projector with the screen, a cooler filled with Cocoa 5, a $250 Twin Peaks gift card, and all of it is free. In other words, there's no purchase necessary. You just have to figure out how to text Peaks to 59925. If you do that, standard message and data rates will apply, and then we encourage you to watch all this football playoff action at any of the 5 Valley Twin Peaks. Take advantage of Blue Moon and Coors Light. That's Twin Peaks 5 Valley locations. All right, coming up, we're going to catch up with Kevin Rowe. We need a contestant to challenge him with our over-under contest. There'll be an over-under 575 passing for the Ohio State-Texas game. Jeremiah Smith, the freshman receiver, will have over-under 75 yards receiving. This game will have over-under 53 total points, and then the winner score of this game. So those are your 4. We'll take your information off the air, but we do need the 5th caller to give us that. So we'll get that from Connor, and then we'll have some fun with Kevin Rowe next. It's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B right here on ESPN 620.
Time to challenge the defender. Attorney Kevin Rowe from Arizona's full-service law firm Lerner and Rowe. In a wreck and need a check, just call Lerner and Rowe at 602-977-1900. At Lerner and Rowe, no fees unless you win. Now, Counselor Kevin Rowe on Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B on ESPN 620.
Well, Happy New Year there, Counselor.
Rock, and congratulations again, you guys, on making the change.
Appreciate it.
On this new station.
That's right. We appreciate you being here, big fella. You're a big part of why we are here. So we are very grateful to you.
Listeners?
Yes, new listeners. Yes, absolutely. This is Kevin Rowe, by the way. We do it every week. We do over-under picks, and for those of you that don't know Kevin Rowe, Kevin Rowe is a big football fan, so he loves doing picks, loves fantasy. Even his dad plays in our fantasy, and he was a goaltender at the University of Washington, so he's a big Husky. I don't even know who your NFL team is, though. Do you really have one?
I don't really have one.
Yeah.
Being from California, I grew up Chargers and Rams. Of course, I love the home team. I got to say that, right? Love the home team.
Hey, speaking of that.
In the same breath, I'll say that as obviously with Manuch and myself, we have a close connection to another team in the same conference. Yes. It's up in Northern California, so I guess I'm not even allowed to say that name, so I'll just hold tight and give that to the next year for the listeners to try and figure out who that is. Or just watch the billboards when he's playing.
Yeah, exactly. Just watch the billboards. We know who he is. Hey, before we get into picks, I want to get your thoughts because you were a big part of the Fiesta Bowl this year and the parade, and the ratings on 3TV just were unbelievable, bigger than the 2 years prior. With Anthony Robles, the Grand Marshal, and now his movie Unstoppable, which is debuting on Amazon Prime Video next week. It came across so amazing on television. I mean, did you have just a blast? And I saw you did. How many hits did you do? I mean, you were all over Channel 3.
That's nice. I mean, honestly, I didn't know the viewership was what it was, but I can tell you, it's always a fantastic event, and I'm pretty sure putting it back in the middle of bowl season was a big issue of why it was a big turnout live, participants, spectators all down. I mean, it's a lot of fun, and it's always a great event, and we're honored to be part of it. It really is. It was great, and that's great to hear. Channel 3, had such a great viewership. But our firm, our staff loves being out there, loves interacting with the spectators, loves handing out footballs. To say that, because we got in a little bit of trouble right before we went live with Channel 3. We were getting scolded by some of the Phoenix, Phoenix, Maricopa County personnel, whoever the leadership Phoenix officials, they were they were a little upset that our 8-year-old, 6-year-olds from the float were throwing footballs all at one person. 5 footballs going to each individual one person that's out there. I didn't even get to see that we actually had the CO2 shirt gun. We didn't even get a chance to bring that out. So,
you did what? Oh my gosh, that you weren't supposed to do that. You had the CO2 like we see at a golf course, or we see Baxter at the Chase. That thing.
That 100%. Oh, like you see the gorilla. You see running around up in the arena. Yeah, we have one of those. We were going to break that up, and in all honesty, we came with twice as much stuff, swags, shirts, and footballs that we did the year before. And we gave everything out. Literally, we were giving it out to people. We gave everything out before we made the turn.
Oh, geez.
So it was. We just need to have more. It shows kind of how many people are out there. And it was great. We had a brand new float this year. So we're excited about that. We had a DJ on the float. We had TVs on the float. So it was a lot of fun, and it's great to hear that it was well received. So it's great.
Good. So that means that you're going to do it again next year, right?
I don't know. We have to have Eric Moses come talk to me.
We just had him on the air. He was on right before you. We could have asked him. He was on. He was calling us for the Orange Bowl, so we just had him on. So he said hello, by the way. He said hello.
All right. He's great, and the staff's been great. So I'm sure we'll try. I know our staff loves us, so I'm sure we'll try and look about renegotiating and and having us there for a little bit longer. It'd be great.
We love it. I love putting you on the spot there, Kev. All right, so let's get into our over-under picks. We have Connor back at the studios with our picks, with our caller, I should say. So the first one, we're going to talk about tonight's game between Ohio State and Texas. There will be over-under 575 yards passing combined between these two teams tonight. Over or under 575. Where are you going, Counselor?
Well, I know you guys have been talking this, beating it to death. So is it Ohio State versus ASU, or no, is it still too late to talk about?
Targeting? Yeah, you want to go down that road?
Targeting call?
Yeah.
Set up. It's a shame. Everybody's still talking about it. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
Okay. Look, great job, ASU. Look, we can all talk about we think they got screwed, but it is what it is. I'm excited to see what Dillingham and the team does next year. But here we are. Texas, Ohio State, 575 total passing yards. That's a lot. I think Ohio State still has some good defense. I think they've proven that over the last two games that they played. They've really gotten themselves on track. So Ohio State is the favored team here. But Texas has some good offensive players too. It's tough. I'm going with a lot of points in this game, so I'm going to go with the over.
Connor, what's the caller's name and what is he going with?
Yeah, so I spoke to Jose out in Gilbert there, and he thinks that this is going to be a under on the 575 combined passing yards. He believes that Will Howard is all right, but he didn't have a whole lot of faith in Quinn Ewers. He said horns down.
All right, the second one here, Counselor. Ohio State star freshman receiver Jeremiah Smith, just a stud, will have over under 75 yards receiving. Over or under 75 yards receiving.
Yeah, I think that's for me, Manuch. I agree with you. This guy's an absolute stud. I'm going over. They're going to look for him early and often. But he's got the great thing about it, too, is they obviously have some other good receivers on the team as well. So that's part of why I'm going with the over on 575. But, yep, I'm going over on Smith.
Okay, Connor, which way is Jose going?
He is also taking the over when it comes to Jeremiah Smith. He doesn't believe that Texas will have anyone to contain that guy.
All right. Question 3. This game will have over under 53 total points scored. Now, DraftKings has it at 51.5. But Manuch has it at 53.
Yeah, 53.
Yeah, so,
1 minute.
Honestly, I guess the next one's going to be the score of the game. So I'm going to tell you, I'm going to go with the over on this. I think it's going to be a relatively high-scoring game. So I'm taking the over.
All right, I just did.
Okay. How about Jose?
My DraftKings app.
Oh, I think he was also going the over. He believes there's going to be a lot of points. May not be through the air for Texas, but they do have a good run game, he was saying. So I'm confused on what Jose thinks. Is Texas going to do good? I can't tell.
All right.
Jose here has a lot of knowledge being transferred through Connor. A lot of knowledge going on here.
Hey, bigger station, guess our listeners are a little bit more educated.
They were excited to be called on.
That was Mike Morocco, a.k.a. Rock, for all you former listeners. All right, winner and score of Ohio State versus the Texas. Winner and score there, Counselor.
Yeah, I think it's going to be Manuch and Jose starting out next week. I'm going to go with Ohio State winning this game. I just think they've been playing fantastic and really getting their stuff together, offense and defense. But I like I said, I think it's going to be like a 34-27 game.
Okay, and what's Jose going with? Score.
Jose is going Ohio State. He just believes that Will Howard was the better quarterback and Ohio State's the better team.
All right, what's the score?
Did you give a score?
He did not give a score, and I think that was kind of lame of Jose for giving me a bunch of insight and not giving me a score.
That's embarrassing. All right, I take back what I just said.
Wow, Jose. Seriously? I don't know, man. Can you follow directions?
I was ticked off. I told him, I'm like, don't call it again, Jose.
No, don't say that. Don't say that. No, we got a good swag. We got a good swag from Kevin sitting in his office and waiting. Kevin waits for the winners to come by, even though we haven't had many. But anyway, hey, good stuff as always, buddy. Thanks for the time. Again, sponsoring the parade for the festival was outstanding once again. And we're looking forward to a great 2025. And we're going to continue doing picks, right? We got national championship, we got NFL games and Super Bowl, so we'll have some fun. So have yourself a good weekend there, buddy.
Rock,
what?
You as well, all you guys, and don't forget Rock. We have a new grand opening coming up since you didn't show up to the last one. That Lerner Row and Taco Spot are together, and we're giving out free tacos. That'll be towards the end of the month, January.
Wait.
Where you could actually show up for one of you.
Wait a second. Were you there?
I absolutely 100% was. I had TikTok videos to prove it.
I played in the TPC Media Day. That's the only reason why I couldn't. I had to play golf at, the course, make sure 16 was all right, and I hit it in the trap to the right. So that's why I didn't make it. So I will be at the next one at Bethany Home. I already have it on my calendar, so I will see you there.
I hope you're not at Bethany Home because that was last week. Oh, earlier this week.
Wait, no. Where is it? Come on. I gotta look this up. No, I haven't.
Maybe you and Jose can get together and talk about what the times are, which you guys haven't done.
I had it down somewhere. I mean, I'm like at the 20. I'll figure it out. All right, buddy. Thank you. Have a good weekend.
All right, take care, you guys.
See you, bud. Oh man, I thought it was all right. I'm glad I didn't go to that. I went to the wrong one.
Is that the Christown location?
The one. That was the one last week. Their taco spot opens up like every week. There's a new one, so it's like all right. Hey, some off the wall sports bar gossip, random facts of the day are next. It's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B right here from Wright Toyota on ESPN Phoenix 620.
The Sun Devil men's and women's basketball teams thrive off the energy Sun Devil fans bring to the home floor at Desert Financial Arena. Acquaintance kicks it out to Sannon. Sannon from downtown. Bullseye for Josan Sannon. Catch Sun Devil men's and women's basketball when they black out the Baylor Bears on Saturday, January 11th. Get your tickets today by calling 480-727-0000 or
30 seconds left in this break.
.com.
Hey, Arizona, it's Mike Wilbon. I've been around sports professionally and personally for a long, long time. And whether you're on a court, in the gym, or just navigating a tough day, you need to stay hydrated. That's where Cocoa 5 comes in. Cocoa 5 isn't your average sports drink, packed with the electrolyte.
Come back to you guys in 10.
Artificial junk you don't need. Available at your favorite stores, Cocoa 5 Active Hydration. Stay hydrated, Arizona.
It's Friday, and the guys are live from Wright Toyota. Right on the corner, right on the price. Wright Toyota, located at 77th Street at Frank Lloyd Wright Boulevard in Scottsdale. Now back to the guys on ESPN 620. Random fact of the day. Time for ESPN 620's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B to give you their Today Random Fact of the Day. Thanks to Cocoa 5. For health and hydration, Cocoa 5 all-natural fruit-flavored coconut water delivers. Find it at a store near you.
All right. A couple random facts today, here on the 10th of January. Before a hurricane, the 2 top-selling items at Walmart. You guys want to try to guess?
I'm going to say wood planks. You know, you board your windows up.
They sell that at Walmart? You should think at Home Depot.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
All right, say 2.
What answer is that?
Yeah, I was thinking, what do you sell? I mean,
all right, Jack, you want to play?
Yeah, I'd love to play.
All right. So I'm looking for the top 2 selling items at Walmart before a hurricane.
Give me toilet paper.
Okay. What's number 2?
Give me water.
Okay. How about Connor? Sorry, Minute. You got demoted.
No problem.
I think the toilet paper's big. We saw that a few years ago.
Okay.
The other one, maybe dry foods, canned foods, something of that sort.
Okay, Minute, you want to try?
I go water, number 1. And I'm going to go down the road. Yeah, I'm going to go down the road with the food, the dried canned foods.
Oh, way to copy both of our answers.
No, I was thinking water. Anyway,
That's what you guys think. If that's your answer, that's your answer.
Yeah.
I mean, they're all wrong.
Yeah.
So it's Pop-Tarts and beer.
Pop-Tarts and beer. There's no way I'd have got that. That's how impractical is that?
That has to be the Pop-Tart Bowl slogan next time we go and to their college football promotion.
Exactly. Hey, Chick-fil-A, a lot of us love Chick-fil-A, and they recently tweaked their waffle fries, and they added this pea starch to coat them, make them a little bit more crispier.
Yeah.
However, the internet is blowing up, saying that they suck and they want the old fries back. It's a really big problem for Chick-fil-A.
I mean, that's part of the Chick-fil-A thing. Get the sandwich and the waffle fries if you like them. Why would you want to tweak? If it ain't broke, don't fix it, right?
Hey, did you like the show Breaking Bad? Did you watch it?
Yeah. Great.
Loved it. The family that owns the house there in New Mexico is selling it. They're asking for $4 million.
What?
Even though it's worth $350,000.
Well, the neighborhood's very middle class,
Albuquerque, right?
Yeah. How about the with the Venetia's Pizza? All the Ackermans they got there too, and that one take where he actually takes the pizza and throws it on the roof. One take. That's all they had. They had the cameras all set up and perfect. They were like, oh my gosh, it worked.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize that. Venetia's Pizzeria, with 7-8 locations down the valley, and it was their pizza that was in Breaking Bad. So, hey, because that's where they started, there in New Mexico. Now, some football at 50. Arizona Cardinals' Budda Baker was named AP Associated Press's NFL second team.
I understand that. I heard that second team.
Second team.
I mean, who was first team? Does it say who first team was? Was it?
I don't have it. His first team was. Hold on a second.
His second team. He was balling. One of the leading tacklers at safety.
Kirby Joseph from Detroit.
Okay.
Xavier McKinney from Green Bay.
Oh man. Oh well.
Guy that got snubbed is Trey McBride.
Where did he end up?
He didn't
end up.
So that's maybe because of Brock Bowers at Vegas, or maybe I think Kittle is another one that made it. So those two.
Kittle's probably got more touchdowns.
Yeah,
that's the one
It
thing.
came down to touchdown. You're probably right. What do you only have 2?
I think he had one.
He had two.
Well,
He had two.
He had two? Oh, that's right.
He had two.
The last
He just
game.
had one, yeah.
Oh, you're right.
Against San Fran.
But 1,100 plus yards.
Yeah. Well, at least he's on the radar for a lot of folks that look at this. Okay, hell of a receiver, hell of a tight end. Now it's about, can he get him the ball inside the red zone? Can he get the touchdowns? But he's on the map, folks. He's one of the top tight ends in the league.
So first-team quarterback Lamar Jackson. Second team is Josh Allen. First team running back is Saquon Barkley. Second team is Derrick Henry. Wide receiver, first team, Jamar Chase, who's going to be – is he available at free agency after this year?
No. Who's the other receiver?
I'm thinking of Mari
No,
Cooper.
he is. He hasn't gotten signed yet.
Okay.
But
Justin Jefferson is on that list. Also – some notables here when it comes to wide receivers. CeeDee Lamb and A.J. Brown, Philadelphia.
CeeDee Lamb's already paid. He's tied up. Who is the receiver at Cincinnati I'm thinking of, too?
T.J. Higgins.
Higgins, yeah.
There are a lot of guys.
Available.
I hope Austin Ford can I was listening to Gambo yesterday, and he was talking about the fact that there's all these reports that it's 89, 90 million, and he's saying it's like 45 million.
I heard that because I guess a lot of folks aren't taking into account the bonuses and what have you. And I was the same way, listening to that on the way home, going, wow. But you know what? On top, they got to spend it. They got to use it.
So here you got Stephon Diggs, T. Higgins, Keenan Allen, Amari Cooper, Chris Godwin, Brandon Cooks, Deontay Johnson, DeAndre Hopkins, Mike Williams, Robert Brown, KJ Osborne, DeMarcus Robinson. Who else we have here that's notable? Zay Jones, Elijah Moore, Nick Westbrook, Rondell Moore. Go after him again. I mean, there are so many guys on this list. Juju Smith-Schuster. I mean, a lot of guys. If they can't get a couple guys, there's a problem.
They got to get one of them. I think T. Higgins. I'd love to go after T. Higgins. He's a home run hitter. But you're right, Rockies. Those are some guys that can help this team immensely.
I can't remember a wide receiver list that long. I mean, I didn't even give you 20 other guys.
They need somebody that can stretch the field every play. I mean, every play they need somebody to stretch the field. The offense needs some juice. Marvin Harrison Jr., he's fast, but he's not a home run hitting type of guy. And T. Higgins, been there, done that. He can hit the home run. But there's some guys on there that, they're going to look at their number, and depending on Monty Austin Ford, whether it be receiver, offensive line, rush end. You talked about that yesterday. Who's the most available rush end versus some of the draft choices? A lot of things that Monty Austin Ford's got to do to get this team to the next level, or try to assure them that they can
2 minutes
win at least 9 to 10, 11 games and make that playoff spot.
I think we keep talking about an edge rusher, right? It's somebody on the defensive line. But I personally would like to see some help if he's going to have one more, he's going to have another year in Murray. Get him that dual or three really good receivers.
Give him the weapons.
Give him the weapons, yeah.
Yeah, for his. This is I quite frankly feel for Kyler Murray. Hey, Kyler, if we give you the weapons, this is it. We need you to step up even more so on a consistent basis. Now,
but you gave him Hopkins. You gave him Hollywood Brown. I mean, there have been some really good receivers here.
Oh, I agree with that, Rock. I just think that
they have not panned out.
Well,
is it because of them?
Well, he was injured for a while. The only year, his rookie year and this year, the only years that he played pretty much 99% of the time. On top of that, you look at you had Cliff Kingsbury as the coach too. How's that working out? So there's a lot of factors surrounding it. I think now, if Drew Petzing stays the offensive coordinator, we had another couple pieces, weapons, if you will, offensive linemen. I think that he's got to get it done this year coming up.
Hey, make plans to join us on Sunday, February 9th for the big game, as we've been doing this for over 25 years, and we have a new home here on ESPN 620 and a new home for the big game, as we'll be at Weekapaw Casino and Resort. We're giving away the cash, the $25 squares, the $100 props, the kickoff challenge, which is $1 a yard, 4 big screen TVs. It's all at Weekapaw Casino and Resort, and it's all free. Doors will be opening at 2. You get all the information on our website at Roc and Manuch. Mark May is going to join us in the next hour. It's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B from Wright Toyota here on ESPN 620.
It's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B now on ESPN 620, 98.7 FM HD2, and streaming live at arizonasports.com. The guys are powered by the law offices of Lerner and Rowe. In a wreck and need a check? Make one call, that's all. 602-977-1900. And now on your ESPN station in Phoenix, ESPN 620, Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B.
41-yard attempt. Snap and hold and go. The kick is Notre Dame has won the Orange Bowl, and Marcus Freeman is taking them to the championship game.
How about Mitch Jeter with the game-winning field goal as Notre Dame punches their ticket to the national championship on January 20th. We'll be at DraftKings TPC. If you have not been there, the place is awesome. It is a real cool place. I think we'd all agree. Last time we were there, Charles Barkley was in line before us.
That's right.
He walked over for us to get his bets in. But that was Sean McDonough with the call there on ESPN. If you haven't heard the Notre Dame radio call, it's not bad. Here's the radio call from the University of Notre Dame.
Good snap, good hold, kick on its way, and the kick is good! Mitch Jeter, with 7 seconds left, gives the Irish a lead, 27-24.
So the attendance last night at Hard Rock did just close to 67,000 for Notre Dame Penn State. Ironically, last year, Georgia-Florida State did 63,000. Now, that was a non-playoff game that took place on a Saturday afternoon, but that was the Orange Bowl. So anyway, Tennessee over Clemson back in 2022 did 63, and also, but that was a prime time. So one of the highest attended games, and the playoff is working, right? I think you.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I agree. I think that it's been a home run. I mean, I don't care the pundits out there say. Now they might talk about the seeding in reference to maybe some of the teams that were better than the Boise States or SMUs or whatever it might be, but we'll let that play itself out. But I thought they were entertaining. I thought that the Texas ASU game was phenomenal. This game was phenomenal. I thought Penn State, Boise State, here in the Verbo Fiesta Bowl was phenomenal. So you look at all of them, very entertaining. Numbers prove it. And I think the CFP committee should pat themselves on the back because tonight's game with Ohio State and Texas will be a great game. And the Blue Bloods, hate to say it, folks, are the ones in the Final Four. And some of we predicted, but the others had a chance to at least speak their piece in some of these other games and get there in that playoff.
You know, I didn't hear a lot of Notre Dame going national championship before the season started. I knew they were going to be good.
Yeah.
But then when they lost to Northern Illinois, excuse me,
at home,
yeah, then you were like, all right, there's no way you can recover.
Sure.
And that's what makes college football so amazing, that you could get beat, upset like that, and here they are going to be playing in the
it was like they were sleepwalking in that game. I mean, Riley Leonard had a horrible game as quarterback, but I think Coach Freeman settled the troops down, said we are a good team. Interesting to hear him talk about after that. There's kind of a wake-up call to this team that you think you're good, but you got to go out there and play your butts off every week if you're going to beat a team. And there just might be that one weekend. We've seen it. Appalachian States of the year beating Michigan many years ago. Northern Illinois beating Notre Dame. I mean, they go on and on. That if you don't have yourself ready to go for a game, things can happen. And if you don't take care of your business, which you have to now, if you want to be one of the 12 teams that gets the playoffs, every game, and I feel this way, Rock, every game was kind of a quasi-playoff game to get you into the playoff format, get you into the 12 teams.
What was your thought about the first round, though?
I thought it was to see all the. I enjoyed it, but I was kind of surprised. You look at that Penn State SMU game. SMU comes down, they throw 2 pick sixes. You go, oh my gosh! But they try to get back into the game. You know what? I just enjoyed watching to see how things were going to shake out. I think the second round was much better. But then when you see all the teams that had the bye week get beat, you're going, okay, there might be something to you playing that week. Momentum, having versus 2 or 3 weeks off. I think ASU, it took them a good half to get themselves ready for the Texas game, which, I felt that once they found their land legs in that second half, they probably could have won that game, should have won that game. That's probably the only one when you look at the teams that got beat, had the byes.
But you just think that bye, the fact that you had an Oregon and Georgia 1 and 2,
sure.
They fall. Mm-hmm. Now, Arizona State, that was kind of a tough one in the sense of, I think a lot of people went in thinking, okay, especially how it started,
sure.
they may struggle. They may
exactly.
Texas just a bigger guys up front. And then Boise State, I think a lot of people thought, okay, they shouldn't be there anyway. They shouldn't have got it.
Exactly.
Got that. So it's just ironic that that did happen. The 4 bye week.
Yeah, and then
all the 4 teams, I should say, on the bye week.
And then all those teams that we're talking about, Bama, and then for Michigan to beat Bama in the bowl game, and Bama basically lay an egg. I sit there and go, look, I felt, in reference to the city, I felt at least this first year, this is the way that they're going to do it, and they should have done it. I really did. Next year, next couple of years, they might tweak a little bit, go with the best records, really lean more on the RPI, strength of schedule, some of those things. But here's my question, Rock. If you win your conference and you win the complete conference and you get bumped for a team that didn't win their conference with 2 losses or 3 losses, then where does that stand? Where does that going to put people to understand, well, we feel they're a better team when you win your conference. So you're going to have that kind of heartburn that's going to be going on. That discussion is going to go on in that room with the CFP committee as well, too. Because everybody's been talking about, well, they should just get the best teams. They feel the best teams, and conference championships aside. Well, then why have the conference championship?
There's a great storyline. It was Quinn Ewers. He played for Ohio State.
Yes.
From Texas, transferred back to his home state, and here he is has an opportunity to knock him off.
Oh, he was the steal. And then how does anybody in Texas allow this kid to get out of the state? Now, I think it was 1 year. Was it Jackson? Just 1 year, and then he came back, saw the writing on the wall for whatever reason. So
C.J. Stroud.
Yeah, well, pretty damn good quarterback.
Yeah.
But yeah, the irony of it all, for him to be the guy that's going to go against the team he started off with. First round, I loved it. I liked it. Yeah. Can you guarantee last field goal games? No, but I thought that the games, like last night's game, the ASU Texas game, Notre Dame Georgia game, were all really, really good games. I think with the Georgia thing about Notre Dame, where you went, this team's pretty damn good. You saw it, but they went toe to toe physically with Georgia, and they handled everything. Now, a couple special team gaffes by Georgia hurt them on a couple possessions, but I think it was the only game in bowl history where there's like 100 yards full offense where a team like Notre Dame won with that less of offense.
Let's hear from the coach at Notre Dame, Marcus Freeman. Here he is talking about this is after the game, how his team fought hard and found a way to win.
To get their job done. Penn State was a heck of a football team. I had a lot of respect for them coming into the game, but have more after the game. It's a really good team.
Damn good team. You're up at halftime, even though your quarterback is hurt. Leonard being hurt, you're up 10-3 going, damn. You're just hoping that Leonard can come back. And I was impressed with this Angeli kid. Was he 6 for 7 in the half? More of a pocket guy, but he was finding his guys and getting the ball down. As a matter of fact, they moved the ball better with him in there, but you still needed the Riley Leonard factor of his escapability, his ability to run the football.
Here's Coach also continuing about how excited he is to move on to now face the winner of tonight's game.
I'm really proud of him. Excited for this next opportunity. We'll enjoy this thing today and tomorrow before we figure out who our opponent is, and then we got to get healthy and get back to work for one less guarantee.
Yeah, it's just have some fun for 24 hours, right?
Yeah.
You got till January 20th. So you got plenty of time. So enjoy it. Have some fun. Give these guys a rest. They've been going at it for a long time. Let's hear from the quarterback of Notre Dame, Riley Leonard, as well, because he got hurt, but he did come back in to finish.
Got up a little wobbly, so that's an indicator that they got to bring me to the 10 and go take me through all the concussion tests. So we went through all the tests, and they decided I was good to go back.
He got up a little wobbly. You could tell he was a little unsteady there. And if this is the National Football League, he doesn't come back on the field. They wouldn't allow him to. But they got him back, did the whole finger, how many fingers, the ammonia capsules, whatever. And I'm glad that they allowed him to come back in that game, shake it off. National Football League, they go, if you're dinged, you're a little wobbly, and you get back, they look at your eyes. If your pupils are dilated or whatever, you're not coming back in. So I give him credit. But the thing that I was curious to watch, guys, was if he was to come out, how he responded to dropping back physically, just to make sure a lot of guys, if they get dinged or a little woozy, they'll be a little off balance. But he seemed to handle the mental side of everything, the plays, getting the plays off, and making sure that things were happening. And I'm sure they had a close eye on him as well.
And here's James Franklin, the Penn State head coach, talking about how this was a battle that came down to one possession.
They did a great job. We knew it was going to be a fourth quarter game and come down to a possession, and that's exactly what happened. So give Notre Dame a ton of credit. I wish them the best of luck moving on.
You looked at that Penn State defense. I mean, that Carter kid, he's just phenomenal. Number 11, Abdul Carter. And I believe, to me, Jackson, he had that left shoulder dinged. He might have been playing with only one shoulder in that second half because they had him all taped up. They're pretty much there. And then the Kobe King kid who got hurt over, that kid was all over. Had a couple big mistakes, a couple penalties here and there. But just watching that Penn State defense and watching that Notre Dame defense, it really, I felt, was about the running game of Notre Dame getting downhill and then making sure that they could get back into this football game from that standpoint.
Now let's finally hear from Drew Aller and what he talked about that costly interception late in that fourth quarter.
Yeah, I was going through my progression, got to the backside, and honestly, I was just trying to dirt it at his feet, but I should have just thrown it away.
Yeah, probably the wise. If at that point you're tied up. I didn't want to make a play, but you got to be smart. You got pressure. He was going to his left, kind of stepped to his left, coming all the way back across the field, about a 25-yard dig route, which means the receiver was coming inside, and then pretty much that you throw that ball, it's going to be way out in front. And number one, you probably shouldn't have made that throw because you're going left as a right-hand quarterback trying to come back on a dig route 20 to 25 yards down the field. But what a great interception for that kid to jump up in there, get up underneath that ball, and secure it. All of a sudden, you're going, oh, my gosh, Notre Dame's got a chance to get this in regulation. Get a couple runs, get a couple plays, get within field goal range. They win this game, set, match. That's when you went, this is going to go into overtime.
All right, let's get to it. One thing I did do watching the game last night with some friends, and Jax will appreciate this. At halftime, I got 8.5 Notre Dame, plus 8.5.
You did?
Yeah. I jumped on that. Because the momentum was going for Notre Dame right there. And then, of course, Penn State did play well and made it look closer than I would have liked. But plus 8.5.
It's a good bet.
That was a great bet. I was like, yes, finally I got one. Hey, let's get to our bets. Our locks, which is brought to you by Upper Crust Pizza and Wine Bar in Phoenix. It's your Ohio State Alumni Club of Phoenix. It's a pizza parlor for families and kids. It's a bar for ages 21 and older. They'll have the Bucks and Texas tonight. That'll be a big, big showing there. Locks. And I know Manuch and I are both going for the same lock, which is fine. There's no rules that state that we can't. But I'm going with my gut. I'm going with the Philadelphia Eagles and the Packers as they played already once this year in Brazil. It was a pretty exciting game for the Eagles. Both teams have had impressive seasons. The Eagles, they won 12 of their last 13 since their bye on the 5th week. Packers, on the other hand, they've lost 2 straight. I believe in momentum. And when you lose to the Vikings, okay. But losing to the Bears, come on. Well, especially when you're a playoff team. I could see if the season's over, you lose those type of games. But I'm going on fully momentum. I think they're going to win by maybe 10 points. I do think they're going to win this game. Hurts is fine. I am concerned about Love. At least I'm concerned in the sense of, I want him to play well, but not well enough. But I know a lot of people are taking the Packers. Well, a lot of pundits.
I call it the Saquon Barkley factor. I really do. I think
give it to him and let him run.
And then with Hurts, he's going to be fine. But it's the defense. It's this Philadelphia defense. You talk about their winning streak and all the things that they're doing right now. This is a different. I think a more balanced him with the Super Bowl a couple years ago, Rock. I really feel that way, that they don't have to rely on Jalen Hurts' legs and his arm. They got Barkley. They got a good tight end group. You got a good defense. It's solid. And they're going to put the pressure all over Love, I feel. They can shut the running game, put pressure on him. Unlike you, I like this Philadelphia team winning anywhere from 7 to 10 points in this game. Jax, who do you like?
I'm going to go Chargers -3 at Texans. Although Sean Salisbury says things are starting to pick up for the Houston Texans, I think the Chargers just up front on both sides are more physical. Texans are dealing with a lot of offensive line injuries. You got a veteran quarterback, Justin Herbert. I know Jim Harbaugh is definitely talking in his ear, saying, Justin Herbert, let's get you that first playoff win. I think they win big at Houston.
I couldn't agree with you more. The only reason why I didn't take that, we had a little rule. I thought you had to stay away from 3.
Same with me.
That's fine. We'll let it go. But I believe
I'll go alternate. I'll go Chargers -6.
That's fine. All right. Okay, you going to put 6 down?
Sure.
Okay. Yeah, I think they're going to roll them. I really do.
Well, CJ
Stroud's been kind of up and down.
Yes.
Justin Herbert has not won a playoff game. Yes. CJ has. But this, let me tell you, this Charger run defense,
amazing.
Yeah, we're number 1 in the league of allowing the least amount of points, right?
I feel like Jim Harbaugh should be in the Coach of the Year conversation.
I would agree with that.
Because of what he dealt with.
Who would you give it to right now if it's not him?
Dan Campbell.
Campbell's one who'll probably get it.
O'Connell, maybe.
O'Connell.
The Vikings.
The quarterback.
Dan Quinn with the Commanders.
Yeah.
Mike Tomlin.
Okay.
Mike Tomlin for going.
How about
10-7?
Sean Payton with a rookie quarterback?
That is true.
Sean Payton, Denver with the rookie quarterback. He had to retool that team after his second year. He's got him to the playoffs.
What are the odds?
The rookie quarterback.
DraftKings.
Look at the odds
right now. You know the wise guys are all over it, but Harbaugh's a good call. I would have no problem with him. I mean, it seems like the Chargers are still, they are just under the radar all the time, every year. Unless you are a Charger fan, you love the Bolts, I don't hear much about them. We're that far. Rams are front and center in LA.
Yeah. I think that the reason why we hear a lot, but they're not they don't win in a flashy way. They just win. They win with defense. Running game, Herbert's playing well. Herbert's only got like 3 or 4 interceptions on the year. They just kind of quietly go about their business and win. And that's kind of the way Harbaugh coaches. This team was a downtrodden team last year. I mean, for him to bring them out of the doldrums and to get them back to the playoffs. Now, it's always great when you got a franchise quarterback in Justin Herbert. So the first thing he did, he called Justin Herbert, said, we're going to retool our offense. You're not going to have to throw a lot. We're going to have a good running game. We're going to have a defense that's going to stop the run. So it's not on you, Justin, to have to go out and win games where the last few years you felt that Justin Herbert had to win games even when they had to the playoffs a couple short years ago. So the Chargers just aren't that team that wows you when they win. They just beat you. They just physically beat you. What we saw here on Monday Night Football, a lot of times with DraftKings, was an anomaly for them to lose to the Cardinals. I mean, was it a field goal fest is what it was. And even the Chargers, even Jim Harbaugh said that was a wake-up call for us. It was kind of like, we just can't go anywhere and feel, well, we can stop the run. Cardinals were all over Herbert. They pressured the hell out of him. And he got away from his game plan. They thought they could throw the ball in the Cardinals instead of just staying with their game plan of running the ball and pounding it and stopping the opposing team.
Because of the Southern California wildfires, it has forced that Monday night wild card game in LA to get moved to State Farm Stadium. The tickets went on sale at 1 o'clock to the general public. I think at 11 o'clock they were open for the Rams because it's a home game for the Rams. So they made that change last night. The tickets aren't on sale. Sean McVay did say yesterday in his presser there were a lot of members of the team staff that have had their houses impacted by the fires. You know, I hate to say this, but I think Minnesota's going to win this game big. I can't imagine you having your head on right when you're dealing with what they're dealing with right now. I can't imagine that. Even that may even play into the Chargers.
Sure,
yeah. You know, with this, because it's not just the players on the field. It's the coaching staff. Sure. It's the front office. It's the personnel. There's so many people that make up a team, and how far it extends that a lot of people are affected.
Yeah, that Pacific Palisades area, there was a lot of people that had homes in there. Coach Reddick with the Lakers, the head coach, he lost his home. All the Stars lost their home. But, yeah, a lot of folks in that particular area Rose, over 5,000 homes have been lost in this fire. Pacific Palisades, the CC fire, all of them. But you're right. A lot of guys, you're thinking about my family. I got to place them. We lost the home. Thank God their lives were saved. How do you think about work?
This is their profession. Yeah. If this was going on with us, are we going to really go to work the next day? And you're going to take some time off.
Well, the thing that put it in perspective for me last time they showed is that they said, just like at Manhattan, New York, the city of Manhattan, the island, how big that is, that's what was lost.
Yeah.
They said over was it 75 square miles of fires, and they're still, I think one of them's got 6% under control because the winds picked up again last night. The Santa Ana's came back in. So very, very unfortunate. And your point, Rock, when you're distracted, obviously, with that going on. Matter of fact, the Rams couldn't even practice one of the days. I think it was Tuesday.
Smoke.
Because of the smoke and all that's going on.
Yeah, and you watch these videos, the TikToks, the Instagrams, and you see these freaking idiots that are trying to start fires.
I don't understand that.
And and all the looting.
Yeah.
I mean, people are going into people's homes that are not yet on fire, but are getting unfortunately they're in the way of it or whatever, and they're looting. And you see it on video, and it's California. Give me a break. It's so messed up.
Well, the police can't get everywhere. They're trying to get everywhere. Yeah. They can't. They said they don't have enough police.
I saw a Nike store, a Nike warehouse getting just hundreds and hundreds of thousands of apparel and shoes. Just people just going in and out with them and putting them in getaway cars. And I'm just saying to myself, how does it happen?
It's just a society. It's just, you talk about some of the idiots that are out there.
There's one video of a guy with a pickup truck at a gas station, and he had a baby pool in his pickup truck.
Right.
He's filling it with gasoline.
You are kidding me.
And there was the couple that actually was filming this.
Yeah.
They went into the gas station and they called the police. Sure. But he literally fills it up, and then you see him take off, and they're following him. And every time he's turning, gasoline is just pouring on the streets.
It's mind-boggling. It's for that kind of mentality. You know what? And the policemen, they talked about that last night. They said we're getting everywhere we can, but they just don't have enough force to get out and about to manage that. Matter of fact, some of those homes in Pacific Palisades are $4 or $5 million homes, right? And even after they burn, they're finding groups of people going into the houses trying to find, because what happened is there's people had safes in their houses. They're getting the safes, and they're breaking them open, and they're finding cash, jewelry, whatever in these safes.
And you can't police it, can you?
You can't. It's just, people are nuts. They're just under all this.
It's just hard to watch.
Yeah. Matter of fact, our good buddy Scott Spreitzer had to cancel today because he's from Vegas. He has an elderly cousin that's over in Southern California. They called him and said she has been evacuated. So they drove over to L.A. to pick her up today. He's like, don't worry about it. To come in. Matter of fact, there was independent mind care, if you will. Within an hour, that place completely burned down. So they had to get all those people out of there, which they did. Yeah, but that place burned down.
Where's people staying? The hotels. If 5,000 plus homes,
people are going north to hotels. People are going anywhere from 20, 30 miles just trying to find hotel rooms, and they're just bringing whatever they had. Sure.
And then there's these stories about State Farm basically not renewing all of these home insurance because of wildfires.
Yeah.
So many people may have lost their homes and not got the insurance on
5 major insurance companies over the last 2 years have cut their insurance policies as far as fire insurance is concerned, or just cut their policies in California because of all the major wildfires the last 5 years.
Why live there?
I agree.
I'm like, if I understand the sun, you have that sunshine tax. It's a beautiful place, but oh man, it doesn't matter right now. But
thoughts and prayers for all.
Hey, real quick, if you missed it yesterday, the Suns, Bradley Beal, 25 points off the bench once again as the Suns took care of the Hawks, 123-115. They'll go back to back on Saturday and Sunday. Kevin Durant, Grayson Allen, 23 points. Devin, 20. He's struggling from the 3-point line, man.
He is.
Jeez. And Nurkic didn't get in the game at all.
Yeah, he was a DNP. Did not play. The thing is,
and he said after the game, didn't even coach didn't even tell him that was going to happen.
Well, he's what Coach Bud has done is he's got it down to like 7, 8 guys now. He's giving guys more minutes. And Grayson Allen at the game said, look, 10 to 12 minutes is tough to get any kind of rhythm and tempo. So what I think they found is once you get everybody the more minutes off the bench, Grayson Allen had a hell of a night because he had more minutes. But it's all about effort, Rock, hustle, defense. You could see it in them last night.
Coming up, we're going to catch up with two-time Super Bowl champion Mark May. I will bet $1,000 that he does not take Ohio State. He can't stand the Buckeyes, but I'm going to try to sell him the other way. We'll see if that works. It's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B from Right to It here on ESPN 620 on FM and 98.7 HD2.
It's Friday, and the guys are live from Wright Toyota. Right on the corner, right on the price. Wright Toyota, located at 77th Street and Frank Lloyd Wright Boulevard in Scottsdale. Now back to the guys on ESPN 620.
All right, Rock and Jax, as Manuch had to leave a little early. Didn't want to talk to Mark May for some reason, not sure. As the two-time Super Bowl champion joins us now on the Wright Toyota guest line. Happy New Year to you, Mark.
Happy New Year. I didn't want to talk to Manuch either.
Yeah, New Year, really get rid of him early. No, he's got to go to a surprise party, so he's doing something. I don't know.
Ooh.
Yeah. Hey, your biggest takeaway last night? That was a pretty good football game last night, don't you think? Real good football game.
Yeah, it was interesting the way that it developed. Penn State takes a 10-0 lead, and then all of a sudden Notre Dame storms back at 17-10, and it goes down to the wire. And big James Franklin did it again. Blame James. This guy I like him as a coach, I like him as a person, but every time they get in a game versus a top-5 opponent, they find a way to lose. In the last 12 times at Penn State, he's 0 for 12 against top-5 teams. So the way the game played out, Marcus Freeman did a terrific job. I think their halftime adjustments were great. They came out and just got physical, even though they were down 2 offensive linemen, and their quarterback, Riley Leonard, was out of the game for a couple of series. He came back in the game, and they finished the game strong. And gosh, just bad decisions by James Franklin at the end of the game. You've got your quarterback rolling left, throwing across the spotty right, across the field to play. And the way that they ran that last series, I'm sitting here scratching my head. It's like, so you got one run, you got 12 yards. You've got less than a minute. You've got 2 timeouts. Continue to run the ball. If you get it to the 50-yard line, take a couple of shots, and you're going for a field goal to win the game, not playing for a tie.
Mark, you bring up his record against the top 5 type teams and things of that sort. Is that just something that the AD and that fan base are just going to have to live with, because you're not going to get rid of him? I mean, he's making $8.5 million a year. I'm sure he's got a huge buyout. You just live with it?
You have to. They're putting $700 million in their stadium, which they've just started renovating this offseason. So you're kind of stuck with him for the next couple of years. He does a terrific job. It's just not against top-5 opponents. Until they get over that hump where they can play with the big boys on a consistent basis, then they're going to win better games and they're going to be seeded better. But this year was one of those years you always looked at Penn State the last couple of years. It's like, gosh, that's a good football team. They were this close to getting to the playoff. And everybody thought that. Then they finally made the playoff, and this is what you get. They had the easiest path to get to the finals. If you look at what they play SMU at home. Then they play Boise State. Are you kidding me? Mm-hmm. Then they get Notre Dame. They didn't even play a conference game, and Notre Dame lost to Northern Illinois. You would think that they would take the step to get to the finals. It was an easy path for Penn State, but they just couldn't close the door and do it. And Notre Dame, you've got to take your hats off to that football team. They're banged up. They're battered. They're bruised. They're running back. He's a star. He's wearing a big knee brace on, and he goes in the game and plays his butt off. And Riley Leonard does a terrific job throwing the ball this week. Against Georgia, he only had 90 yards passing. In this game, he's over 200 yards passing. So they did a great job of their game planning, particularly in the second half of this football game against Penn State.
Mark, let's stay with the coaches. Marcus Freeman, what he's been able to do. We were talking about a little bit earlier today, the fact that he'd never been a head coach before he got that job, and what he's been able to do there. And now this Notre Dame team goes from someone who a team that most people disliked to now they were voted as one of the most America's team. 40 states picked them when you look at the last four teams that are still playing as of yesterday. So what do you say about Marcus and what he's been able to accomplish so quickly?
This is a coach that lost his first game at Notre Dame to Marshall. Think about that. At home to Marshall. That was the first game. They ended up 9-4 his first season, and he turned it around. So he's done a terrific job as growing as a coach and developing his players. If you look at Notre Dame's roster, they don't have a lot of 5-star players. They've got some 4-star players. They've got maybe 1 or 2 5-star players, but not like if you look at Ohio State's roster. They've got 9, 10, 12 5-star players. You just don't get that. Penn State has 4 or 5 5-star players. They're just not getting those type of players. Notre Dame was always built on big physical power running because they're in bad weather where they are in Indiana. That's where they've always kind of been. Now they've got speed to go with that, and they're getting better athletes. So he's not only doing a great job coaching, he's doing a great job recruiting, and it's tough to get into Notre Dame academically. So you're not really going out there reaching the players that you want. You're getting the players that you need, that you have to have.
Mark, when you watch this Notre Dame defense, what sticks out to you that gave Penn State some runs? They always call that middle 8, and I saw a stat where they have plus 27 points in that middle 8 the last 4 minutes of the second quarter, the first 4 minutes of the third quarter. What about that defense is so challenging for teams like Indiana, Georgia, and now Penn State last night?
Just the way that they've done calling their plays and getting their players in the right position. They're missing their top sack guy and their best defensive lineman. He was on the sidelines for this game. But you look at the way that they play as a team. This is a team that they don't care about the stars. They don't care about getting their names in lights. They play together as a team. And you look at the way that they play defensively, they're just smart. They've got great gap integrity. They set the edge on the end of the line of scrimmage. So they don't make mistakes. Their coaching staff is phenomenal because I look at Notre Dame and how far they're going. Yeah, they should be America's team. The way that they're playing, they're almost the underdog. And that's really never been Notre Dame because Notre Dame's usually the favorite in most of the games that they play, and everybody's behind Notre Dame because it's a national brand. But the way that this team plays together, it's really impressive. And I think Marcus Freeman, I know they just signed him to a contract extension, but they better bring him in and talk to him again because he might be in line for the Bears job.
Bears job?
The Bears job.
All right. What's a better job, Notre Dame or Chicago Bears?
Oh, Notre Dame is.
Okay.
But at least you get to dip your pinky in the big pool with the big boys in the NFL, and his name gets out there in a recognition that they wanted to interview him, and he's going to stay at Notre Dame, which is great for Notre Dame because I think he's a terrific coach.
Yeah, I think he is too. All right, let's pay attention to tonight's game. I know what you're going to say, but Ohio State, Texas. This is going to be a hell of a game, too, I believe. I had taken Texas to win it all earlier in the season in August. I thought they had what it took. And then all of a sudden, you got an Ohio State, a team that at least now in the playoff has been clicking on all cylinders. Is it momentum? Is the butt guts up front? What's going to be the big difference in this one?
I think that how Jeremiah Smith, the wide receiver, plays, because basically you look at the way that he's played this season, he's almost a reincarnation of Marvin Harrison Jr., the way that they use him. He's almost the same size. He's 6'3", long arms, can run, can go across the middle, is not afraid to go and get the 50-50 balls and come down with them. Nobody's been able to stop him.
Hey, Rock, I do have that Ryan Day comment if you'd like.
Ohio State, if they're going to get going, they're going to have to feed him the ball and get him the ball. Then they're going to have to get their running game going. And Chip Kelly's done a terrific job with their running game, but they've got to do it game after game. One thing about Ohio State, they'll play one great game. They'll play maybe two great games in a row, but can they get that third and fourth game done? Because you look at the way that they played against the first time they went against Oregon, they played at Alton. They didn't play that well. Then against Michigan, that was one of those games where Michigan they took the bully on and just hit him in the mouth.
Yeah.
And the way that Michigan was more physical than Ohio State, I think when you look at Texas, that's the way they're going to have to try to attack Ohio State. They're going to have to stop the running game first, but then they've got to make sure that they've got somebody on Jeremiah Smith.
On the flip side of it, if you're Texas, how do you attack a defense with Caleb Downs in the middle of the field? And finally, a front seven of Ohio State that we've been preaching to see from. We didn't see much of them against Oregon, but this stretch of games too, Mark, they've been sensational outside of Will Howard and Jeremiah Smith. They've definitely been the MVP of Ohio State's run so far.
I look at the Texas team, and this is a team that a lot of us thought would win the national championship this year, but for some reason, this team just stalls. It's almost like they play with their food when they get a lead. They get a lead on somebody, and they fool around, and they go between the 20s, and they can't score in the red zone. They can't do that against Ohio State. They've got to play a complete ball game. And one thing about Quinn Ewers, if he starts staggering during this game and he starts stuttering and he can't complete passes and they're not moving the chains, you've got to put Arch Manning in because there's too much at stake. And I don't care what anybody says about Ewers transferring or going to the NFL. You're here to win a national championship. And if you put Arch Manning in just to ignite the offense and then maybe put Quinn Ewers in after that, I think that's got to be on the table for Steve Sarkisian because this is a game that they should win. They've got just as much talent as Ohio State. Everybody's saying, hey, Ohio State's a dream team. They've got everything together. They finally put it together at this point of the season to make their run. They look terrific. They've got so many players that are going to be in the NFL draft coming up.
1 minute.
This team is loaded also. If they can stay healthy on their offensive line, they're banged up a little bit, they've got a chance. As long as Quinn Ewers doesn't turn the ball over one, and when they get to the red zone, they got to come up with 7 and not 3.
Got a couple more minutes with Mark May here on ESPN 620 with Roc and Manuch and Jimmy B. All right, so with all that being said, Mark, who is going to win this game tonight in the score?
You know I can't pick Ohio State.
I know you can't. That's why I even teased to go to break. I said, I don't even know why I'm going to ask him because he's going to take Texas because he can't stand the Buckeyes. And I'm here doing my show. I got the sweatshirt on. I got the hat on. I'm going all OH. And I come on. You're being an analyst. You got to be objective.
Unbiased.
Texas is going to put 4 quarters of great football together. And that's what it's going to take to beat this Buckeye team. You look at Ryan Day. He's always on the hot seat in Ohio State. If he won the national championship, you know what they say at Ohio State? You didn't beat Michigan. So that's how crazy these Ohio State fans are. I'm going with Texas because I think I thought this team was a team of destiny. They played well last year. They didn't make the final last year, but at least they played well last year in the championship run. But this is a heck of a team that from top to bottom. They haven't paid as much as Ohio State, believe it or not, to bring those players in through the transfer portal, but they got a few guys, some SEC transfers, and I think Steve Sarkisian's done a terrific job of developing his football team and getting them ready. Texas finds ways to win at the end of the game.
You're clear to wrap whenever.
Ohio State, because Ohio State's going to try to run you off the field early and often. But Texas is going to have to hang in there, particularly in the trenches. They're going to have to run the ball. Obviously, they're going to have to stop the run. But the other thing is, when they get their opportunity in the special teams, that's where they need to take advantage of it, particularly in the punt return game against Ohio State. That's a big advantage for Texas. I'm taking Texas in the 6 points.
Last question for you, Mark. What was your reaction to the news this morning that Carson Beck is transferring to Miami instead of going to the NFL draft?
What's the big surprise? His girlfriend goes to Miami.
Yeah.
That was the first key, guys. You should have looked at who he's dating. He's dating with what are they, Cavender twins?
Cavender.
Like that?
Yeah.
Gilbert, yeah.
Gilbert gal, yeah.
Yeah, he's dating one of those twins, so you would think he'd go to Miami. Why not? Plus, Miami paid him. I don't know how many millions he's getting. I know one thing. Duke, which my youngest daughter graduated from law school here, she sent me a text. She goes, why in the heck is Duke paying a college quarterback $4 million a year? And I said, great question, Bryce.
Yes.
I think it'd be an Alabama or a Texas or an Ohio State, but Duke is paying their transfer portal quarterback $4 million.
Duke's got a lot of alum, a lot of rich alum, I guess. So, hey, Mark,
not this one.
Not this one. Hey, buddy, thank you as always, man. Happy New Year to you. And are you going to be on ABC 15 this weekend, or is that come to an end, or what?
Yep, that's come to an end. I'm done for the year.
Okay. All right. Well, hopefully
I'm ready to go. I'll talk to you probably national championship game, guys.
You got it.
I got one thing to say.
Yes.
Where's the beef?
Very good. He's listening. All right. Good stuff, Mark. Appreciate you, man. That's Mark May. Follow him on Twitter. He's a great follow on Twitter at Mark May at Mark_May. So appreciate him joining us here on Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B here on ESPN 860 and on 98.7 HD2. We'll come back with this schedule for the weekend because ESPN 620, 98.7, we've got a lot of stuff for you. Suns, ASU basketball, of course, tonight's semifinal between the Ohio State, Texas. We'll tell you what's on tap as we clean up here and we finish up at Wright Toyota. This is ESPN 620.
be a 56-50 hard out. I'll make sure I give you a countdown and play that bumper music on the way out.
It's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy.
Mics are hot now.
ESPN 620, 98.7 FM HD2, and streaming live at ArizonaSports.com. The guys are powered by the law offices of Lerner and Rowe. In a wreck and need a check? Make one call, that's all. 602-977-1900. And now on your ESPN station in Phoenix, ESPN 620, Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B.
You know, we were doing so well. Connor, we were doing so well. We went 5 days. I just said during the break, what do you think? A- for your first week, and then
yep.
You just did the open of the show.
I got distracted.
I was the open of the show. The last segment of the week. Oh, the last segment of the week, you do the open of the show. But I understand. No, it's all right. It's a great open. Yeah, it's great. You're taking care of our sponsor. And instead of normally football at 50, but we will go with football at 50. And it's going to transition into our State 48 Roofing. It's your call question of the day. You can always vote on our Twitter page at Roc and Manuch. And sexy roof status is the hashtag. Who do you feel will win the Ohio State-Texas game tonight? Your choices, of course, of those two teams. Ohio State with a slight edge at 58.3%, now 53.8%, 46.2% for Texas. So if that's any indication, it should come down to the wire. Good stuff. But here's what's on tap. Powered by the Roc and Manuch Amber, which is brewed by Dos Equis. Find it at an area refreshment stand near you. We will have that game right here on ESPN 620 at 5 o'clock, the college football playoff semifinals. Also, this weekend, on the mothership at 98.7, you'll have the Suns pregame show at 2:30, and then the Suns and Jazz at 3. And then later on 98.7, 7 o'clock pregame for ASU Baylor, and then 7:30 tip-off. And then on Sunday, you got a back-to-back with the Phoenix Suns on 98.7 with the pregame at 6:30, and 7 o'clock is the game with the Suns and the Hornets. So that is your schedule there in regards to the National Football League, because we got a lot of games this weekend, 2 each day, and then 1 on Monday. Of course, it got moved to State Farm Stadium. But to have the honeydew list going. Oh, by the way, I do want to say tonight on CBS Sportsnet, North Dakota at Arizona State in hockey. If you're not following this hockey program and you like hockey, ASU hockey is on fire.
Are they pretty good?
Tickets are going for like $300-$400. Wow. Yes, it's a hot ticket, and they're playing some really good hockey. So if you get a chance. Also, Northern Arizona is at Montana State, 6 o'clock on ESPN Plus tomorrow as well, and UCF is at Arizona, 8 o'clock. So, but when it comes to NFL, we have the Chargers and the Texans. That is at 2:30 tomorrow on Channel 5. Steelers and Ravens, that's the 6 o'clock game, and it's on Prime. So it's on Amazon Prime. So if you don't have that, you're going to be out of luck. You may have to go to the refreshment stand there. Sunday's games will start with the Broncos at the Bills at 11 o'clock on CBS 5. Packers, Eagles at 2:30 on Fox 10. And the Sunday night game on Channel 12 will be the Commanders and the Buccaneers. And, of course, Minnesota and the LA Rams tomorrow from State Farm Stadium. Those tickets, there's still some tickets available. You just go to Ticketmaster and you can get tickets there.
So does that mean it's going to be a Rams field and Rams decorated? That's what I'm kind of wondered about them playing here at the Arizona Stadium, and then the Rams getting the home locker room versus the away locker room every time they play at the Cardinals Stadium.
Yeah, I think they'll do that. It depends on timing. If they can get the field, I'm sure they're going to have to decorate the field, and it will be like that because I think they need to, and it's a home game for them, and they've done it before, and they were able to get that done. So I think they'll have it done. I mean, I was thinking about going. We're going to be at the Trophy Bar, and I can still, but going from Queen Creek and Price all the way to Glendale during rush hour on Monday would be a little difficult because it's tough to get out there. That's one of the reasons why the Coyotes struggled is Monday through Friday trying to get out there to the West Valley with the traffic. It's just brutal, especially in the 101 West or the 10 West. It's just really, really rough to get there.
Must be nice for you as a sports fan because you got Ohio State tonight against Texas, and then you've got the Eagles on Sunday. So you got an NFL team and a college team both in the playoffs. Which one are you most confident to win? Ohio State against Texas or Eagles against
Eagles? No question.
No question. At home,
Yeah.
2:30. Jalen Hurts getting back.
I'm not worried. I'm really not.
Okay.
I bet it. Yeah, I'm not worried about it. No, I don't know why I'm so confident about it, but I just think that the Eagles are just playing pretty good right now. Packers have lost 2 straight. I believe momentum going into the playoffs is going to play into that. That's why you may see, I doubt it, a Denver Bronco team that is playing pretty good right now, maybe just squeaking by, at least making that game in Buffalo close. And I love to see a rookie quarterback in Bo Nix. Same thing with the Commanders and what Jaden Daniels has been doing. I'd love to see him have some success.
I think the Commanders could beat the Bucs. I know they're a 3-point underdog right now, that night game. This Commanders team is just so fun to watch. Jaden Daniels, what Dan Quinn's done in his first season, and the fact that they've got $130 million in cap space next year. Like, this Commanders team in just a year could flip, and you wonder with the Arizona Cardinals if they could do the same thing. Monty Ossenfort, not that big of a spender, but I think you made a good point earlier talking about the receivers. This year proved Michael Wilson, Greg Dortch, great depth guys, but they can't be your number 2, number 3. You either got to go and draft some guys.
Rookie number 1.
Exactly, with a rookie number 1 that's trying to establish and be on the best corner. Only 22 years old. He got manhandled the whole season. But I think overall, I'm wondering if, because you always know Wild Card Weekend there's going to be an upset.
Mm-hmm.
You're right about that Broncos game. I know the Bills should win this football game and move on in Josh Allen's MVP season. But, man, Sean Payton and Bo Nix just have that type of edge to them that maybe it starts out close and maybe Josh Allen and then prevail late. Who knows?
Going back to your Commanders-Bucs game, I'm a Baker Mayfield fan. And I kind of root for this kid, or not kid, but, you root for the guy. He makes these big plays. He's got a little Brett Favre in him, and you just you kind of root for a guy like that. I mean, he had a bad break in Cleveland, didn't work out for him. I thought that was going to be the big deal there. So, I mean, I'm just not a Washington Commander fan, so that's why I'm kind of rooting for Tampa Bay in this one.
Enough.
But this defense for Tampa Bay is pretty banged up, at least all reports. So Daniels may have some success throwing. I mean, we know he can run it. And then turn our attention to Monday and the Vikings and the Rams. With everything going on in Los Angeles, this is going to be a tough one for the Rams. I really think. I know the Vikings did not play well in the Sunday night loss to the Lions. That cost them a chance at the number 1 seed. But now they face a Rams team, and I just think it's going to be a tough one for them, especially with everything that's going on with Southern California. Oh, man. So, Connor, you're so close. So close.
So is that a B+ now for him?
B+. Yeah, A- to B+.
Dang.
But, all right,
That's so dear.
There's always next week, buddy. Hey, we appreciate you finding us here on ESPN 620 98.7 HD2. We're streaming live at rockandmanuch.com as well as Arizona Sports. So program it in your car if you have HD in your car, 98.7 HD2. And, of course, tonight at 5 o'clock, it's the college football playoff semis with Ohio State and Texas right here on ESPN's home in Phoenix, 620. Have a great weekend. We'll see you Monday at 1 o'clock at the Trophy Bar.